This is Infection, the survival podcast recorded live on Tuesday, May 21st, 2019, episode 227. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of Infection, the survival podcast. Infection is your source for the latest information on survival video games. We bring you the latest news, reviews, and updates and more each and every week. My name is Nick Craig. You can follow me on Twitter at Nicholas M. Craig. Of course, you can check out our website. As always, it is infectionpodcast.com. He is doing very well on the other side of the United States, joining me this evening. Brian with an I and verified YouTube channel, Aldridge. Hello, Brian. How are you doing on this fine Tuesday evening?
I'm doing wonderfully in the beautifully weathered Boise, Idaho.
Beautifully weathered? Is that a thing? I don't think that.
Yeah. It's very nice here.
Okay. Well,
today, yeah, it's very nice. Sunny. It's been raining the last couple of days, which is very rare for Boise because Boise is kind of a desert area. Thank you. Oh, it's Judd.
That's our friend Judd.
For 11 months. Yep. Judd, thank you for subscribing 11 months in a row.
What about Barbie, who subscribed before the show with 16 months?
Oh my, she's an OG.
She is.
So, all right. Well, if you guys want to find me at Boise Computer on Twitter, my blog, biteoftech.com, and of course, go check out our website, as Nick said, infectionpodcast.com. We have on there links to our Discord server, links to our Twitch, our YouTube. We have links to all the audio formats that we have, whether you want to listen on an Android, an iPhone, whatever. That's all on there. We have all show notes for all the past episodes, and you can click on those and browse links and view videos and everything that we discuss throughout the week. And on there we have links. One thing I did change, I need to add, we have a link to different kind of things that we sell, like the games for Humble Bundle, links, Amazon. I added one so if you go to humble.infectionpodcast.com. Just so you don't have to remember, if you just type that in, humble.infectionpodcast.com, it'll take you to the link for our Humble Bundle affiliate link.
They're also, the Epic logo on top of our logo is missing as well. So when you're making your modifications to add the Epic Game Store link, make sure you put their logo above our logo on the website, as they are paying for that prominent placement on our website. Actually, I need to add it to the logo of the podcast as well for here on the video.
You need to put sponsored by Epic.
No, not a spot, just a big Epic Games logo on this show, so that everybody will make sure that everybody understands. I'm just going to replace our pictures with Epic.
Funded by Epic.
I'm going to replace our double box with just two Epic logos.
If you could have them kind of glow, like one a little bit brighter as we're talking.
Oh, that's a really good idea. Well, with all the money they give us, Infection, the Unreal Survival Podcast. That's good, Judd. I appreciate that. Yes, our website, lots of good stuff on there.
So go and check that out. And one thing for the Epic links, as we said before, we have to do individual links. They don't have a generic affiliate link for Epic. And so if you do want to do that, in the deals channel, I have some links for various games that are kind of the new hot games that I think we may be interested in. I don't put them all in there, but if you have a specific Epic game that you would like to buy, and you want to support the podcast, let me know and I can create a link for it.
Awesome. Let's see. So last week was Minecraft. We had a great time playing, and we've been playing throughout the week. We still have a vanilla server up. It does have a whitelist now. I took it off for game of the week and then put it back on. So if you want to play in this server, just direct message me with your username and I'll add you to the whitelist, just so that a random doesn't come on and blow everything up. So we're just playing on a vanilla server. We've got some cool stuff going on. So if you want to join us for that, just let me know. I'll give you all the information. Coming up this week for our Infectio Game of the Week, which takes place Friday night, 8 p.m. Eastern in our Discord. We are going to be playing, and this is news, I guess, Xera Survival, which actually launches Friday. I don't think in the past, I don't remember, games don't typically launch on Fridays. Well, maybe Atlas. No, Atlas was like a Wednesday or something like that.
Well, but that was so delayed. The thing is, whenever they say they're going to launch versus when they actually launch is days apart. So
coming up this Friday, we are going to be playing Xera Survival, which comes out, and we're also going to have a couple of keys to give away. So if you show up for Game of the Week, you'll have the opportunity to win a couple keys to the game that they're providing us. So join us for that, and then we'll get a couple keys to give away on the show in the coming weeks as well, and have somebody from their team on the program. Yep. So I don't know. We can talk about that. We'll talk about Xera here in a little while. But that is coming out Friday the 24th, and it's going to be our Game of the Week. So you can either buy or go ahead and join us, and we've got some more links, some more information on that coming up here in a little bit. I do, Brian. I would like to talk about Epic and their mega sale that they've got going on right now. And there's some problems that they've run into. So apparently there's two different stories here. Apparently they put games on sale without notifying publishers or developers, as well as publishers and developers were getting screwed with that $10 voucher. They were making they weren't making $10 less. They were losing $10 off the price of the game. So then they were making less money on the sale. On the sale on the purchase of the game. So a couple of different games. A big one would be Borderlands 3. They pulled themselves off the store, so you will not be able to do anything with that game. You will not be able to pre-order it until the mega sale ends. And there was a couple of other smaller publishers of. There's a couple games in here, but by some small developers. They were also pulled, and it was the same thing. So they just, I guess they didn't tell these people. I mean, I can understand.
Well, I bet you it's probably in the contract that they signed when they put it on there that they probably didn't read.
That may be true
in detail.
But
it's probably saying that they have the right to, and then name all these things. Well, whether that's good policy or not, that's a different question.
The only reason I'd say that's probably not the case is they did allow these games to pull themselves off of. They did pull these games off of the store. And thank you, Bobby J, for the subscription here on Twitch. We do appreciate it. But now let's transition into this, Brian. I looked at the Epic Mega Sale, and I tell you, there wasn't a single game on there that I had any interest in buying. I mean, I understand the point of doing a sale, but I looked at the library, and it's 75% off. 75% off of games that I don't want. I mean, who the hell cares?
Yeah.
I mean,
well, that's the thing is there's a few titles on there, and I don't know if it's not Epic's issue. It's some of these games they're not interesting at the moment.
They're none. I literally looked.
Yeah, one that I've been interested in, Satisfactory.
I did see Satisfactory. That may be the one that I saw, but that's
one that I'm looking at getting.
I also was looking at getting that. But outside of that, I mean, scrolling through this list, Brian, I'd never even heard of any of these games. I mean,
well, some of these are like PS4 style games.
Yeah, there are the bigger games.
Beyond or Detroit Become Human, I think Beyond Souls. A lot of these are ones that I haven't seen on PC up to this point. Of course, World War Z, we saw how that went. It just hasn't released well.
Well, I mean, here's a great example, Brian. This is what I saw. So you open up the Epic launcher to view their store, and you're met with this big 75% off sale, Epic Mega Sale, and you scroll down to the first 3 games. The only one I've heard of is Metro. I haven't heard of the other 2, and frankly, I have no interest in any of them. And as you scroll through, I mean, Satisfactory is definitely something I've eyed, but as you just keep scrolling, I mean, this is the first one. Fortnite's on sale? Wow, that's crazy.
Dauntless is a free game, anyways. That's the first one I show there. Is that the very top one for you? Yeah, that was a free game.
But what is this? I mean, why is this 75%? Why is this is the prominent item on sale as a free game?
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, what the hell? How can you do a sale when you have nothing? I mean, they've got such a small catalog. And don't get me wrong, they've got some bigger games like Metro. Apparently, they had Borderlands free. Satisfactory, a lot of people have been talking about. A couple people in Discord were talking about it today. But this is a terrible first big PR event for Epic. And by the way, they're promoting the crap out of it all weekend on Facebook. every time I'd go on Facebook, it embedded in my timeline would be an Epic Game sale, and the comments on it were so funny. People just ripping Epic to shreds on the comments of their own boosted post. As it's just, there's just not enough games on here for.
That would explain though why they're trying to get. That would explain why they're trying to get these exclusives, though. I mean, they're trying to get the exclusives to build up a catalog of things that would make you go to the Epic Store, right? Because if you had the choice right now, the same game was available on Epic versus Steam, and they were both the same price, which one did you buy it on?
The same price. I'd probably buy it on Steam.
Yeah, and I think they realized that, and so they were trying to get a reason for you to come and buy games on the Epic Store.
I mean, this takes the cake. We thought Steam has had some pretty rocky sales as of late. This takes the cake for like this is the worst sale I think I've ever seen. There's just I scrolled through this for 3 seconds and I said I don't literally do not recognize but 1 or 2 games on this list.
Yeah,
and that's your Epic mega sale. Great games up to 75% off.
Well, I think part of the bigger issue is that there is a weird charge for people that are purchasing outside of the United States as well.
Oh,
it's a much higher cost for someone to purchase it in another country. You know, there's certain countries that, you know, it jumps up in cost. And so until they get that, and that's one reason why I was thinking they were wanting to start selling on the Humble bundles, you know, not the Humble bundle, but the Humble website. Mm-hmm. Was because then they could use their payment system and still sell keys and people from out of the country could purchase them at a better rate. Well, and the thing is the United States is the cheapest. And then you go over to Europe and sometimes they'll have games be like 25% more just because of the VAT exchange rate well, it's something with the credit card processing of Epic. That they need to work out. They need to get, I mean, it honestly can't be that hard. I understand that they're probably dealing with decent numbers and so they got to be careful, but they really need to figure out their conversion rates and getting a provider that doesn't make them charge $10 more for a game, you know, and making it go up 25%.
Out of the top 7 games that I see displayed on my list, 4 of them are pre-purchased games.
Yeah.
And then 1 is free. And then the other one is satisfactory.
Yep.
I mean, really? That is your Epic. I don't understand what the point of this is. I mean, I really am lacking the understanding of what they're trying to do with this.
I think they would have had, well, I don't think it took off well. I think they would have had a better reception if they would have each week or even every day they say this day we're going to cut the price of this game by 25% or 30% or even 50%. You know what I'm saying? Like each day do a different game at a cheaper rate and work it out beforehand with all the developers and say your day is that your game's going to be on sale is this day. Or they need to take I mean, if they're wanting to really sell this and get people to purchase, don't, you know, if the developers had to take the $10 out of pocket, I don't know if I would really like that.
Well, I think they will, because I mean the game is $10 cheaper.
Well, but what I'm saying is Epic should have taken part of the hit of the discount, not just say, okay, all developers we're lowering the price of your game $10 when it's a $20-something game to begin with.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Now, I don't know, but based on some of the backlash that I've seen, I assume that's what's going on. So
because Satisfactory, for instance, $29.95 buy with Epic discount. It's $19.95 now.
Yeah, so, I see that.
I mean, that's decent chunk of the whole game. It's 1/3 of the whole game.
It's 1/3 of the price. Yeah.
Yeah, and so if they're making the developer eat that, I don't like that.
I would assume the developer's eating it. I can't imagine that Epic is eating it.
Well, if they're trying to build this up, I mean, it's hard to say.
But see, this has always been my argument, Brian. We have been number one proponents of Epic in this whole Epic store And don't take this conversation as me now being somehow anti-competition in the game marketplace, but this is just a lame performance. I mean,
yeah.
EA or Ubisoft could do a better sale on their marketplace, and there'd be more games I'd be interested in than this Epic marketplace. I mean, honest to God, if EA did a Origin mega sale, there's a whole bunch more games I'd be interested in on there. I'm not saying I'd buy them, but at least I'd be interested.
This way, haven't you felt like this with the more recent Steam sales as well, though?
Well, I have, but the problem with this most recent Steam sales are that it's a lot of the same games that go on sale, and I've purchased them in sales past. Every time there was a sale, my email and wish list used to explode. 12 of your, 70 games are on sale or whatever. But as the sales have gone on, I've purchased them, and now there's not on sale. And now new games I add to my wish list aren't. The one thing I'll say with the Steam sale is at least they've got a lot of games to put on sale. But this display from Epic is just real lame. There's just nothing. There's nothing There's nothing intriguing on this store. And the fact that there's free to play games on this home screen is incomprehensible to me. And games that aren't even out. Why the hell would you promote a big sale? This is your launch sale on your big new marketplace, and the games are either free or not out yet. Where's the logic, Brian?
Yeah, I mean, how much do they have to work with, though? This
well, then don't do a sale.
They don't accept random people posting games. You know what I'm saying? They're building up their library one at a time. Yeah, they should. Or do it in a way that makes it spread out over time and makes it seem more special. I mean, I don't know.
I appreciate what Epic is doing, and I think it'll be better for us, the consumer. But this is just stone cold stupid. There's just no logic to this sale, and if anything, it's just more bad PR, more bad press for Epic, which is exactly what they don't need because enough people are already trashing them. So
one thing I want to point out, though, like for instance, Metro Last Light on Steam is currently $20. It's $4.99 on the Epic Store right now.
Yeah, but that's the only game that's 75% off that I've seen.
Yeah,
but
I'm just saying that as an example,
that's a good price.
Steam did a sale in kind of response. They did a weekend. Over the weekend, they did a survival sale.
I know. I thought that was
for like fun. 2 days.
Yeah, survival game sale.
But that's the thing is, that went really quick.
It went really quick. This is just not. They are already facing so much backlash and so much bad PR. And this has just only made it 10 times worse. So next time you're going to do a sale, have some freaking games that people want on sale. I mean, that's probably a good place to start.
Yeah.
So, that's there's your weekly Epic game updates from the shills.
I think I'm going to buy Metro Last Light right now.
Yeah, I mean, that's a good price. $4.99 is a good price, but but me personally, I have no interest in the game. So you have one really good sale. I mean, okay, that's great for people that want that game, but what about it's a mega sale, Brian?
Yeah.
I mean, they might as well have just put Metro on sale and called it a day. That's
what I'm saying. They should have done them one at a time.
But even if they did them one at a time, there's not enough games for them to do one at a time. What the hell are they going to put on sale every day? Pre-orders for games that aren't out? Wow, what a great deal. $5 off a game that is coming soon. Wow.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing is they should wait for some of these games to release. And if they want to have something be special, do a sale when the game releases. Like give it a reason to say, hey, this is something different. We're actually putting the games on sale like the day they release. Yeah. That would be something unique.
That would be a way to do it. Absolutely. So, lame performance by Epic. But Fortnite's on sale, so go ahead and pick that up. That's prominently displayed in their launcher. So
95% off.
Yeah, it's great deal. Go for it. Please use our promo code Infection Podcast on checkout for Fortnite. and the other free game, which was the first game. Go for it.
Hey, I mean, we would get credit if you buy the V-Bucks or whatever.
Okay, yeah, our audience, I'm sure, is all over that.
Someone did using our affiliate
really?
program.
I didn't know
They did buy V-Bucks. Yes, so thank you very much to the person that did that.
Yeah, well, they want to be anonymous because they don't want to get harassed and
we won't out you, whoever.
It was Firebomb, wink, wink.
Bought V-Bucks. It probably was Firebomb.
Oh, jeez. Okay. Hey, a quick update on a story. I'm glad you posted this, Brian, because I hadn't seen it. We talked it was just 2 weeks ago, about the walkout at Riot Games. And the whole, you can go back and listen to that episode. It was Infection 225. And the whole thing was over forced arbitration, which we're not going to go into. But the protest didn't work, surprisingly enough. Riot, there was the Freudian slip again. Riot is keeping the arbitration in their contracts. They're not budging. And that was my point 2 weeks ago, was they shouldn't, because you're setting a really poor example for yourself.
And what we had pointed out in that previous episode is that the way that they do arbitration is very fair. You know, I mean, you can agree or disagree with the whole concept of arbitration, but the way they do it is not steamrolling the employee. And so, and it's a very standard practice.
And here was the statement.
Yeah, go ahead.
Here was the statement from Riot. It says, ultimately, given the complexities of ongoing litigation, we will not change our employer agreement while in active litigation. So maybe foreshadowing a little bit towards the future, but we know that not everyone agrees with this decision, but we also know everyone does want Riot to continue to improve. So probably removing the arbitration for certain things now would probably make them lose the ongoing lawsuits, which is a problem.
So I do have a question here.
Yeah, I have an answer because I'm a law expert, as I found out 2 weeks ago.
Well, but the thing is here they says the company plans, in response to this, the company plans to create a council on diversity and inclusion, and it has invited a diverse group of employees to take part in reviewing aspects of its code of conduct.
Mm-hmm.
So what's that? Why? What's that have to do?
That's them.
Anything.
It's just them. They're trying to give them something.
But
the protest work, guys.
Harassment have to do with all of that.
The protest work, guys. Twitter, the hashtags, the work.
I don't think people in that company. I don't think people in that company are being discriminated against.
No, hot take.
It's one of the most diverse companies you could possibly see. Who are they discriminating against? Actually,
well,
we won't get into this now, but you know what I'm saying? They're discriminating against someone to make all those hires, and it's not the people that are in that diverse group. That's all I will say.
No, and you make a point, because the whole thing was that that you weren't allowed to sue the company. Essentially, that was the whole argument, the whole problem. And then so they've created a diversity group, which I'm glad you brought that. It doesn't. It's not what the people were pissed off about. They were pissed off about part of what they were concerned with was sexual harassment and things like that were being forced into arbitration.
What's that have to do with diversity? I don't get what sexual harassment has anything to do with diversity, unless you want to make some pretty crazy claims. I mean, you could go there. That would be one place to go. But I don't see what sexual harassment and diversity have anything to do with one another. I mean, I can't draw the two lines together in my head.
Based off the conversations and whatnot the what people said 2 weeks ago when we talked about this originally, you're absolutely correct, Brian. It had nothing to do with, well, there's not enough of X people working at this company. It was, well, if you get sexually harassed at the job, you're getting forced into arbitration with the company. That was how brave these people were for. That's
the thing is, I don't see at all what that statement has anything to do with sexual harassment, diversity, and that. I don't see what any of it has to do with it. I don't think they're picking out some sort of a minority in their group and targeting sexual harassment at that group. I mean, honestly, Have you ever heard that?
No, I have not, based on what I read, and I'm gonna say I'm not like, it's not like I've been following it,
Yeah,
tooth and nail. But
it's like they're coming up with some little side thing, catering to a group, maybe a group that's being more vocal at the time, right?
No, Brian. I mean, if we want to get down to the brass tacks of this, they're creating this diversity group so that the protesters shut up and they don't have to deal with this crap. So they'll say, oh, well, we got something out of it, because they're not going to change their arbitration agreement. It clearly, at least at this point in time. So you give them some bullshit side group that they can all create and feel good about themselves with. And now from a corporate side, Riot goes, we diffuse the bomb. Now they've got their little diversity club and everybody's happy.
Well, and that's the thing is, like, they are talking about their zero policy. They're saying that they have a zero tolerance policy on discrimination, harassment, retaliation, bullying, and general toxicity.
Yeah, but hold on. EEO, equal employment opportunity and whatnot, that stuff is already covered. Like, you can't discriminate against somebody based on their age.
But they're talking about even in the daily workplace. And honestly, is that an issue? I've never heard a single claim that people are being targeted and harassed because of their sexual orientation or their gender, any of that. I've never heard that actually happening. I haven't seen any of these people stand up and actually make that claim either.
That is true. Interesting.
So, I mean, that's my issue, is there hasn't been, and of course arbitration prevents them from saying something, but I haven't heard any secret sources. But the thing, with Kotaku and all these places, they're going to have secret sources. Our sources say not a single one of them have done that, which tells me it's probably not happened. It's probably them just trying to strong arm this company.
Yeah, this is a good way for them to get people to shut up. So, good work, protester. I don't really know. You didn't get what you wanted, and good on Riot for having some balls and not, ponying down to this and pandering to this nonsense.
Now, here's one thing that in the past year, it says Riot has suspended its COO for 2 months over alleged misconduct, and then brought a Harvard Business School professor to advise the company on cultural transformation.
So, what kind of misconduct?
They didn't say
misconduct.
They didn't say anything. They just said alleged misconduct. Well, that could, in general.
But misconduct is anything. Misconduct could be making up false expenses, or I mean, misconduct could be anything and everything that you're doing.
Yeah. I don't know. It just frustrates me because I just don't see. It seems like Riot itself is just kind of saying, all right, we're just going to deal with this in the logical and legal way.
Yep.
Right. And then you have a bunch of people that are running off of emotions, thinking that there's some grand cause that they're not even able to state the true cause, so the true intentions behind this cause. And it just makes it muddled to me. I don't see, if they came out and said, we know of 3 employees with, name the diverse group, that have had this happen to them. And of course they can't say the specifics of it, probably. But remember when we did talk about this a couple weeks ago, they said that they are not limited. They can talk about it. Yeah. Remember?
Mm-hmm.
And so if this has happened, why have they, once again, if they can talk about it, why have we never seen a single report of an actual incident other than saying the one guy was suspended for 2 months for general misconduct?
The COO. I don't believe those. Yeah. I don't know. I just think it was a social media fueled thing, and the video game article writers. I refuse to use the term journalist anymore. The people that work at these gaming blogs fueled it as well. So there's your update on the whole Riot thing. So the protests were unsuccessful. They did not get what they wanted, and the next battle, I think, as we talked about, will probably be something with the union. So we'll.
They get another committee. They get a committee that gets to meet and talk about.
You can get paid to go sit in a diversity meeting. Good on you. Hey, hey, I'm not going to knock the gig if you can get it. All right, let's do a little survival news here, Brian. So I'm super pumped that we got this email a couple days ago about Xera, and
Yes.
they have turned around very quickly and are launching the game. So on May 24th, on Friday, they're going to be launching the game, and we're going to do some streaming for that when it comes out. We're also going to do it for our game of the week, and we talk about ways that you can help support the program. Well, here's another one for you, and this is the first time that we've been part of a program like this, Brian. But if you head on over to infectionpodcast.com/Xera, Xera, infectionpodcast.com/Xera, it will redirect you to their store, and you can actually purchase the game, and part of that goes directly to us. So it'll help support the program and our ongoing efforts with things like that, which is really neat that they're allowing people to do this. And of course, the goal here is that to tell people to promote it so that they talk about their game and get more copies of it sold. So if you head on over to our website, I'm having a problem posting links in Twitch chat because Twitch is garbage. But it's infectionpodcast.com/.
I'll post it for you.
I mean, I've literally posted like a dozen times, and I've refreshed 3 times. You can head on over to our website again. It's infectionpodcast.com/Xera. Buy the game on there. It's the same price as it'll be on Steam. The only difference is that it'll help us out. It'll help us out and give us a couple bucks for our trip in Seattle. So check that out, and stay tuned to
Make it so Nick can eat another day. Come on.
Yeah, buy me a $11 drink at the airport.
You'll be sitting for 2 hours.
Yeah, well, because Brian's flight got delayed. So go ahead and do that, and stay tuned to our Twitter @InfectionCast. We will, when we find out the details on Friday's timing and whatnot, we'll let you know. So we'll do it for our game of the week at 8:00, but we might be streaming it earlier on in the day, and we'll have copies to give away. So hang around our Twitch or hang around our Discord, and we'll have a couple copies to give away. So stay tuned for that, and thanks to Joshua over at Xera, who's been with us now for quite some time. I've very early on in the concept of the game, he's been here. So
and I brought up his Kickstarter, the original Kickstarter, a while ago, and was in communication with him about that. So it's nice to see that the Kickstarter wasn't successful, but he was able to get funding from another manner, and now he's able to release. So it's good. And
there is a video I forgot to mention. So there's a quick video.
Oh yeah,
here.
why don't you play that?
Yeah, it's a short little trailer, about 40 seconds. For your audio listeners, you can skip forward, and just shows off some features and kind of a promo of the game.
It's 2022. Artificial intelligence has become self-aware. The war for human existence begins. Xera Survival. Early access on Steam May 24th.
I really do think we need to reach out to them. We need to do like the Infection podcast in the game somewhere. I think
you need an Infection logo, like the hand.
Yeah, the handprint just slapped on a brick wall. So I'm sure we can make something like that work. So yeah, again, infectionpodcast.com/Xera. If you're going to buy it, we'd appreciate you purchasing through that. It'll help us out. And by the way, it'll help them out too, because they won't be paying the 40% Steam tax if you purchase it on Steam. So check that out. Yep. Links and all that other nonsense are on our website. It's infectionpodcast.com. So check it out.
Very good. All right. So do you want to talk a little bit about Sony and Microsoft, since we were talking about survival for a little bit, but we'll have to veer off from
my two favorite companies.
Yes. And so there was an announcement this week, and it was that Sony and Microsoft are going to explore a strategic relationship. Now, when you first hear that, you're probably thinking, all right, is this, or we're going to now have the Xbox Sony edition or something like that, but it is cloud-based solutions for gaming experiences and AI solutions, which is a lot of just the online way of handling AI in a game is very difficult. It resource intensive, and it's a lot of times, if you'll notice, they're not always super realistic. And so I think that they're realizing that together they can do a little bit better and use some of Microsoft's data center power, because they have that whole Azure data center, and that will help them to probably combat Google a little bit. I mean, I don't know if you remember that announcement that Google did about a platform to having servers online and doing a lot of the processing in the back end for your games.
Mm-hmm.
I bet you this is kind of in response to that technology that's about to come out.
Yeah, probably. Now, I know that what has been said in this thing is that this is for AI and cloud technology and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
But this got me thinking, Brian, is there realistically, I mean, as we've seen PC grow in its user base and its player base over the past, I mean, I would say it's probably grown, it's grown quite dramatically in, let's just call it, the last 4 to 5 years. Now, I understand what the point of this partnership is, but do you think maybe down the road, so not on a same console or anything, but do you think that maybe they'll team up and, for example, release some exclusives on cross systems just between themselves to kind of do, instead of it being Xbox,
kind of team up against PC and other people? Yeah,
because right now it's Xbox versus PC versus PS4. It's a three-way. I mean, the Switch is their own thing. It's a three-way, battle for exclusives and whatnot. But I wondered, in the future, depending on how this relationship goes, could we see, call it 3 or 4 years down the line, the next God of War, for example, be on the PlayStation and the Xbox, the next Halo be on the PlayStation and the Xbox, to do something where they can kind of essentially give the big middle finger to the PC and say, okay, now it's console, one word, versus PC. I don't know. It got me thinking about that.
Well, the thing that I would see as a possibility is if they're going to create something that's helping games to have more realistic AI, well, these games are not going to want to have something that they have to develop a whole separate AI for something like this, and then do a whole nother thing for Xbox. And so I would be interested to see if they would provide a unified interface for the developers to create AI and all this on that both systems use. Because if they're going to have something, Microsoft's not going to want to have Sony have a much better AI system, because now they're using a cloud system, and then they come out with their own. Because that wouldn't be fair, first of all, to the developers. I mean, imagine if you had to recreate the wheel for both systems, and if you create something too crazy, sure, that would be a selling point for Sony, but the developers, are they going to bother taking advantage of it if it's going to create that much more work? They might as well make it a Sony exclusive at that point. And so it'll be interesting to see if this grows. And that's where I think the partnership would come in of, hey, let's use the same AI infrastructure in the background so that the titles that are released on both platforms could have this. They would have access to this. I don't see them making, they're going to keep exclusives on both sides. I mean, I don't see that going away. This is all about technology and the back end.
It is. So you don't think in the future there's going to be any synergy of that nature in the future with releasing some exclusives to each other?
Well, unless their relationship really changes, that would be kind of tough, because right now that's the only thing really keeping them alive. But what happens when they get to a streaming only service, which eventually will happen? I mean, these devices themselves are going to be somewhat pointless, similar to what you see with, like a Fire TV. It doesn't matter. You have a very lightweight box. People don't even think about the box anymore. That's getting the shows to their TV. That's just whatever. Maybe it changes the interface a little bit, but it's not determining what you watch. Right now, these boxes are just determining what you watch and what you play and everything that you do. So I think that as they get closer to streaming services, these won't even really matter. It'll just be, we're offering these games to people. It doesn't matter. These are Sony games, and you use the Sony service, has nothing to do with the Xbox, the Sony hardware itself.
Yeah,
I think we're going to get there, and then a lot of this conversation will change at that point, and it will purely be about titles, just like with Netflix. I mean, look at Netflix as an example. Who are they going to partner with? I mean, they do partner with. They put some shows for HBO. They'll put some titles, and they'll put different things on there.
Yeah.
For periods of times with the contract, and then they'll go away. I think we're going to get closer to what we see on Netflix with gaming at some point.
Well, if the streaming content battle and that whole mess of an industry right now is what gaming is going to be in the future, then that's very disheartening. Because what's going on right now with HBO Go and Hulu and Netflix and Amazon Instant Video and Sony's got a streaming service and all the other ones, Disney and all, just everybody, that's going to be a problem. When you start seeing small to medium studios, like, for example, Respawn's a bad example. They're owned by EA, I think. But let's say EA or a company like Respawn isn't owned by EA. You know, you have the Respawn streaming services. What, you play the Titanfall games and what else? Like a couple other games. So that I hope that we don't get to that. And if it does, hopefully it is just Xbox and PlayStation doing that. So there's at least some uniformity.
Yeah. Well, I think we will get to a point where maybe consoles will change as we know them too. I mean, imagine if you get to something that's more of a full room experience. Like that will take a serious machine. You're not going to stream that over the internet, right?
Yeah.
So I think that what we consider gaming today on the TV will probably become more like streaming in the future, and they'll create something that's actually broadcasting imagery across like all walls of your room or something like that. You know, creating more of an immersive experience.
I'll say this before we wrap up here. If you were to ask me 5 years ago, Brian, and say Microsoft's coming out with a new console tomorrow, are you going to buy it? My answer would be unequivocally, without a doubt, yes. And I can tell you this sitting here right now. And when it actually push comes to shove, I may purchase it. But if you were to say Microsoft's coming out with a new console tomorrow to me today, I mean, my initial impression would not be to go stand out in line at a GameStop at 11 o'clock at night and wait for it like it was with the Xbox One.
But would you turn around and buy the PS5?
Either of them? No, not on launch. Probably not. Now, you know, peer pressure.
Now, what if it shipped with certain titles? Like, okay,
I don't like. I don't.
It's not ready.
I'm just.
But if they release GTA 6, just like I bought my PS4 Pro with Red Dead 2.
Okay, but the PlayStation 4 has been out for 5 years at this point or something like that.
But if they were offering GTA 6 that was only going to be available on the PlayStation 6 or the Xbox, whatever they're going to call it, 2.0, at that point,
I don't know. I really don't, because I'll tell you this.
That's where it comes down to titles. Titles for me is what sells the console.
And I don't disagree with you, but the problem that I've run into myself, Brian, is I've got a dozen video game consoles sitting behind me. They're all plugged in. They're all addressable to my TV. All I have to do is either switch an HDMI switch with buttons on the front or switch an old school AV switch, and all of them can pop up on that TV at any given moment behind me. And I just don't play them because the experience, it sucks compared to PC. I can't talk to my friends. I can't do other stuff. I can't have Twitter open on the side while I'm playing a game and keeping my eye on it. I can't quickly reference something on the internet. I have fallen into the PC master race thing, not because of the games, but because of the other things I do on my computer. I've got my nice microphone here. I've got my headset.
You can do voice chat easily. Okay, and that's one thing. Look at the downside of the PlayStation 4 is the voice chat and all that is
such a pain in the
horrible.
ass.
And so I'm holding a disc. I have my phone there with Discord on speakerphone, and then that way I can have my headphones. Like that's one thing that if they could get away from that. But as you go to an online streaming service, I don't think that part of it's going to get any better.
The only way that
more streaming.
But okay, so now I would counterpoint, and I don't know if we want. How far do you want to get into this?
It's really up to you.
Okay, well, I'll just say this: the counterpoint I would make to that is that Microsoft and Sony should look at taking the approach like Google, whatever it's called, a PC application where people can stream games. Because that's what it is. You are absolutely correct.
Sony's already doing it.
They are doing it.
Look at the PS Now.
They are doing it with PS Now.
Do you think that they're just going to expand that and say, here's the next level of gaming and have it to where you don't have to own a console itself? You just subscribe to PS Now and you can get all the games that are on there, and then eventually have a service where you can purchase them on a store in there, not just have the pre-listed titles. You can purchase games and stream them.
Well, we've had a lot of conversations recently about SaaS, software as a service, and a streaming service is the best SaaS model thing for the gaming industry because it's a constant, and I understand they've got Xbox Live and PlayStation Premium, but you're talking like what, $3.99 or something like that a month for those services when you buy them, when you break down the cost for buying a 12-month membership. You could demand $25 a month for a streaming service or $20 a month if you've got the good catalog. Now, we did bash Google Stream because we don't know the price structure of it yet. But if Sony, or Microsoft said, here are all of our games and, they're streamable or whatever, we also make this little box like a Steam
like Netflix.
Link.
People are willing to pay a decent amount for Netflix every month because there's a good selection.
But on the flip side of it, you'd also sell some type of thing like a Steam Link, where it's a little box, or a Roku, some type of box that size, where it streams. Where it streams it to that box if you don't play on a computer or whatever it may be. So I don't know where exactly this whole thing is going, but the enthusiasm and it may be based on the fact, it may be just based on maturity, and now PC gaming for me is a lot more realistic than it was 8 years ago when it wasn't, because of the high barrier to entry, which is still an issue. But with lower priced gaming laptops coming out, I mean, with Walmart's gaming line, those laptops are like $699, and they've got very competitive video cards, and with AMD's Ryzen, very competitive processors to what Intel's doing for a much cheaper price than I originally got. I mean, I bought this piece of crap Toshiba laptop in probably 2008 for $700 and had the first generation i3 processor. It was a piece of junk. And now you can get a 1050 Ti mobile GPU and a Ryzen 7 for $900.
See, but I think it'll drastically change. Just like, remember when we used to always say you get a more consistent experience out of consoles?
You do.
Because they're developing it for specific hardware. Yeah. Well, imagine if all that hardware is in the data center. And it's never, because look at how long it's been since the PS4 is released and the changes in technology in that amount of time. They're claiming, I think I said last week, it's going to be like 28 times faster than new PS5.
That's the problem.
28 times faster.
Well, and that's the problem with consoles, because you demand a $499 price tag, and then the thing is out of date in a year. Literally a year.
Yeah, and so that's the issue is if you go to all streaming, the hardware is always current. Developers aren't sitting there and having to design to the limitations of the existing hardware. They can just design a game as big as they want to make it, which is kind of like what Stadia has been saying. You can design it as big as you want to make it, and the only limitation is your ability as a developer and the engine that you're building it on. All the other stuff goes out the window.
Yeah. I don't know where the space is going to go, but going back to my previous thing, I don't know if I'd buy a next generation console on launch day. I'm not saying I wouldn't get it eventually, or I wouldn't pick it up, at some point, but I don't think I would be I know for a fact I would not be as infatuated as I was with the Xbox One launch. I mean, I was all over it. I was all over it. And if tomorrow Microsoft was like, hey, here's a new console releasing, would I be interested? Yes. Would I buy it? Maybe. But it's not going to be anything like it was before. And I think that's the feeling for a lot of people, because it's just, I don't really care. I've got all the systems. I think people have found
there's less of a difference now between PC and console. I found console games that are plenty buggy. For instance, Days Gone, I've been playing that. Mm-hmm. And they put out some recent patches that fix these issues. but this is a released game. I'm playing it, and I got to this section where the voice and the animations, for cutscenes were way off, like by up to 30 seconds. I'm saying way off, like that far off.
Yeah.
To where the mouths are moving and they're like, one guy's left the room, and then I hear with almost 30 seconds later him saying goodbye. Just stupid things like that. They patched it, but it used to be you get a console game. And the reason that you would maybe go on console is because it would have less bugs. You'd be able to play it and not have to worry about all those things like you do on PC games. And I think that that's becoming less and less because we've got all these tools for universally developing. We can make something and it will publish on PS4, it'll publish on Xbox, and it'll publish on PC, and it'll publish on Mac. It's not like they're making things anymore for specific hardware like they used to. They're making it in an engine, a generic engine, and they're porting it, which I think is even worse than, as far as compatibility, than when they were just sitting there and making them specifically for one engine. So I think that benefit's kind of going away to where it makes the PC seem a little more palatable to people.
I'll give you one quick example. So this weekend, our friend Saul sent me a Humble Bundle, Bundle store link for Worms Armageddon. This game came out in 1999, and it was on sale on Humble Bundle for
back when games are good.
Yeah, well, it was on sale for like 99 cents or no, maybe it was like $3. I don't know. Yeah, it was. It was like $3.29 or something like that. Very, very low price. He said, pick this up. We'll play it. We'll have a good time. So I did, and we played it over the weekend. That is why PC is so much more intriguing to me than consoles are today. That stuff just doesn't exist on that platform. And I know everybody already knows this. I'm just giving you my opinion on it. You don't realize it until things like that pop up. Like, for example, Metro, what is it? Metro Exodus is on sale on Epic for $4.99. You will never find that game on the Xbox for $4.99. Never.
Unless they're giving it away. Well, like with PS4, unless they're giving it away on the free games for PS Plus. Like,
correct.
It seems like you'll never
find a sale
that's like
price.
Their major sales. Yeah.
But you'll never find a sale price. And Jay Deloitte saying, I rarely pay full price for games on a PC. Yeah, that's very appealing to me as a consumer. And I've already got the PC. I've already invested. I don't know, what video card did you and I just get? You got a 10.
I got a 1080. You got a 1070.
Yeah, of course, you got one on me. But yeah, I did my investment. I spent $400 or something on this card. I did my upgrade. I did my investment. So I mean, am I really gonna go beat down the door at the local GameStop to shell out after tax close to $600 with a game or two to Xbox or PlayStation? Or I mean, no, I don't think so. I don't think so. And that's all I'm saying is I don't know what Sony and Microsoft, I know the original conversation was about them sharing AI, some type of AI technology, but I really don't know what the hell their plans are for the future, because I really, and look at Brian, mobile gaming. Well, you've got kids playing Fortnite and PUBG on their phones. Yep. So what the hell's the point? Why the hell would you buy a console?
It makes the console seem that less impressive.
It's just irrelevant, I think.
People are running them on their phones.
Yeah.
And it's not that much of a difference of experience
now,
compared to something they paid $400 for.
Are you playing God of War or Halo 5 or Forza Horizon on your phone?
But with the streaming service, you could be.
Well, and now Steam Link's available on iOS. I haven't tried it yet. I did download it, but Steam Link is available on iOS as of this week. So, I mean, now you can stream, and now that's different. But I'm just saying you can do that in-network now. I'll have to try that. I was supposed to try it before this show, but I didn't have a chance. Okay, so AI partnership, it's interesting, but I really do wonder what consoles will look like. The next generation consoles are going to look like, because it's never going to sell like the older systems did. I just think the player base is gone.
Well, one thing I do want to mention, though, since we have been talking about this, so there are 2 new games that are on that. You know how they give away the free games for the PS?
Yeah, what's on there?
Subscription. Overcooked, which you recommended to me.
Overcooked.
My wife and I played it all the way through. Really enjoyed it. Great game. But Overcooked is on there.
Come on.
I didn't yell at her. Well, we did a
come
little
on.
bit. It's like, come on.
Come on. Get those dishes cleared. Come on. I know.
Fail, or we wouldn't pass it off correctly.
Yep.
And then she'd be like, what are you doing?
Yep.
Give me this. Give me that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Great
And
game.
then What Remains of Edith Finch. And I think that's one that they're giving away on Epic Store at the end of this month as well, probably in a couple days. So that's going to be one of the game giveaways there. So you could get it on the PS4 for free right now, or you could go onto the Epic Store, and I think that it is available within, it's going to be in a couple days if I remember correctly.
Awesome. Yeah. You know, here's how is disinterested or uninterested? This is how uninterested I am in the PlayStation and Xbox. I have Xbox Live Gold and PlayStation Plus, and I don't even turn my systems on to get the free games. That is how little I care about the platform. And it's not because the games aren't good. It's because I know damn well I don't want to play the game on the Xbox or the PlayStation. No. I don't want to. I literally have not gotten. I don't know why I'm paying for these stupid services. I've missed out on literally hundreds, if not thousands of dollars of free games. And I don't care because I'm not going to play them. I've got a half a dozen unopened saran wrapped games still.
You need to quit your job and stay home and play video games.
Even if I quit my job and stayed home and play video games, I still wouldn't want to play them. It's not a time. Well, part of it is a time issue. I just don't care. I don't want to play the games on those platforms. It's not as good. I've gone full master race. This is coming from the guy that is.
The guy who got me to buy a PS4.
I've got all of the systems. They're all here. I've got a whole shelf of games. I don't like the experience. I hate it. I've gone full PC master race.
I can actually Edith Finch. That was last month, if I remember correctly. Sorry, it's different games now. For
wait, so Overcooked isn't even on there?
No, Overcooked is on the PS4, and I'm saying it was on Epic Games, but I think it was last month. It was within the last couple of weeks. I think that was one of the last games that they gave away. There's different games. So right now, there's Stories Untold on Epic Store, and Rhyme is coming out next month.
Now that I think about this, maybe it's just a laziness problem because I don't even get the free games. I didn't even get Subnautica when it was free on Epic.
Yeah, so I think that's more of it, regardless of the console or the platform.
No, but I think I've got a problem. Okay,
you just don't have time to play games. That's the issue. We've talked about this with the recession. People played a lot more games. Everybody has a job now. Everybody's busy.
I'd much rather talk about video games than play them. And I'm being dead serious. I really would. I enjoy I do. I enjoy that. Okay. Let's talk about some video games.
Sure.
What let's talk about Miscreated. They've got a pretty big update here. This is 1111 3 ones, and this is their this is more of their push for modding, and I don't know why it's taken so long, Brian, but the push to make it grow some type of organic player base in this game, because people own the game. We've seen that based on Steam Spy estimates. They're employing a whole bunch of people to work on the game, so somebody's getting paid, but nobody's playing it. They have a huge current player problem. And this update, the past couple updates have expanded on modding and are attempting to grow that out. So a couple of things that I would have assumed were already in there, but were not, are in this update. So we're building that stuff up. Player reservations. So essentially a skip forward on the list. A server admin can now create reservations for players on their list. If a server is full and a reserved player tries to join, then a random non-reserved player will be kicked from the server to free up a player slot. The kicked player will be notified that they were kicked to make room for a reserved player. Now, this is common in a lot of other games as well. This is something you can sell as a server operator as a VIP perk. Minecraft servers do this. I'm trying to think of Minecraft. GTA servers do this. Almost all of the RP servers do this. This is a very common thing. So they've added this so server admins can do that. They've added passwords to servers, which I didn't realize they didn't have. So an admin can now set a password, and only players who know the password can connect to that server. So they've added that in as well in there. This one is pretty interesting. they've added it so modders can create custom chat commands to their servers, and the chat commands are processed via Lua, which if you've ever screwed around with any type of Gary's mod, there's plenty of other games, but Gary's mod's probably the most well-known example of it. It's use Lua in the Lua scripting, and that is very common and very popular. So they say that they're extremely customizable and can invoke hundreds of exposed API calls for the game. So they've added there's a whole bunch of API calls that are available that you can do things in chat now with Lua. So I'm not sure exactly what the implementation of that will be. I'm trying to think of what you may be able to benefit out of that, but this is the first step. This is a big step in the right direction. In addition to that, they've also added it so that you can modify a player's spawn location and loadouts via Lua. So again, this is more towards VIP. VIPs maybe
actually can give people. That's the thing is you can say, all right, if you pay this amount of money, you start out with this, and you'll spawn in this town,
in a city, So I mean, they're trying to create kind of like an economy for this, which is good. And then they've got some examples of chat commands in there. There's a path for it. You can find it on our show notes. Now for respawning. There are now 2 options to respawn. We've talked about this in the past. Respawn at a base or respawn at random. The respawn still works like before, where you respawn at a random world spawn location. If you are a base owner and the base has a crafted bed, you will see the respawn at base option. After you use the respawn at base action, you will need to wait 30 minutes, which is a significant time, but it kind of fits the more hardcoreness of this game. Wait 30 minutes before it can be used again. During that time, you can still randomly respawn instead, and that time can be adjusted by server admins, and destroying a player's bed, very similar to Rust and every other game, will prevent them from being able to respawn at their base. They've gotten rid of the restart and uptime chat commands have been temporarily removed.
I can only imagine why the restart command.
Yeah, I guess that could potentially be a problem. They've done some changes to their i3D servers. They've added a specific message that's shown to players if they try to join a whitelisted servers but are not whitelisted. They've added different rocks of new materials around the map. The nav mesh has been updated. So that's all game things. Base building.
So and like a nav mesh, just for people who don't know, that's where AI, the pathing for AI, let's say on the ground, you want. Well, remember when you could have AI, you could just jump onto a car and then they'll stop. That's because the nav mesh doesn't let the AI go onto the car. It maps out all the ground where they can possibly walk, and then it uses that to let them move around the world. So it could be that because of the recent map updates, the map mesh may have needed to be updated, or AI was getting into places they weren't supposed to. Little things like that.
Well, listen to this. So the line before that was iron, coal, and pyrite rocks added around the map to harvest. Could that
probably where those items were placed because they don't want things trying. But the thing is, those would disappear. But they probably don't want you harvesting that. It disappears, and then the AI is able to walk through it, and it appears in the middle of when the AI. Who knows what kind of crazy things might happen. Yeah. So they probably placed those, made it so that the nav mesh goes around those objects so they don't walk through it. And then it may not be anything extra special. It might just been a normal process after changing the map.
So they've made some base building changes as well, a couple of them here. They fixed an issue where multiple players could place a metal base part at the same time. God only knows what that would do. When you repair a part, it now heals at 2,000 health instead of 1,000, so you're getting 50% more on that. To upgrade a part, it now needs 1 sheet metal for every 1,000 health of an upgrade part. For example, if you have, if a part has 15,000 health, you'll need 15 sheet metal to upgrade it. As long as you have 1 sheet metal in your inventory, you will see the upgrade action. If you lack enough sheet metal, it will inform you how much you need. They adjusted damage types for several items like rocks, so they no longer damage plated/metal parts. This is part of, now there's a reason to do advanced things in the game, so rocks and garbage will not affect more fortified bases. Wooden crates, furnaces, and fireplaces no longer take damage from explosions, but can still be destroyed via melee. We used to do this in H1Z1. You used to be able to blow things up through the wall without getting into the base. You wouldn't blow down the wall, but you could blow up chests and stuff.
It would ruin everything they had inside.
Yeah, and if you blew up a chest, if you blew up a chest, I believe all the items disappeared. There was no drop system, from what I remember.
Well, they would drop on the ground, but then those would despawn after a short period of time. So if the people were logged out, there at one point in time, that's what they did.
Okay.
I don't remember if it was always like that, but towards the end, you'd have it to where items would spawn individually on the ground.
Okay.
And then they would despawn just from being out there.
So
I don't remember at some point. I don't remember if they had them in a bag.
I think that's what it used to. So, but in this case, you probably could have destroyed a wooden crate through a wall in some cases, and destroy all the items without actually getting into the base. So now you have to, melee. You have to touch them. So you have to get into the base. So that's base building. Stuff. Crafting. They fixed duplicate sheet metal crafting recipes, and then just a couple other things with sheet metal that requires it for building. For items, they've increased stack size for electrical parts to 10. They added the iron ore item. For the map, they've added the harvestable iron ore, charcoal, and pyrite deposits around the map. Vehicles, explosive damage from the boats and jet skis reduced. I guess they were blowing up too quickly. And then for the UI, icons added to the server browser for whitelisted and password-protected servers, and the filter option to filter out password-protected servers. Whew. They're doing a lot, man. I'll tell you, they really have.
One thing that I really want is the ability to spawn in items.
Well,
you can do a Lua thing to be able to give a starting player certain items. Why can't you spawn them into the world?
Well, you might be able to now. It says with this, a modder can now add custom chat commands to their server. Chat commands are processed via Lua. So you probably can. That's what it sounds like.
That would have to be, you'd have to create some script that's putting them in a box somewhere or something, because those chat commands wouldn't necessarily be tied to a particular player.
Okay,
you know what I'm saying?
Well, let me tell you how.
Location.
I'll give you the most basic example. Minecraft. It's /give player username, item number or item name, and then quantity. Something like that could easily be there. Give
so then
Boise computer.
You can spawn it into their inventory.
3. Yeah, I mean that's how Minecraft does it. I'm a Minecraft expert.
That's the thing that's the big thing I think that would benefit them, because as we've seen, it's just a private server was meaningless to us.
Well, here's the thing: if you can
didn't give us any benefit,
if you can adjust player loadouts via Lua, I don't see why you wouldn't be able to. At least, as you said, worst case scenarios, you spawn items into a box.
Yep.
So I would assume,
or make it so that everybody in the group starts out with a lot of things that you then dump into a chest.
Now, PH says, can't imagine a huge group of modders wanting to dig into this game. They're just going to have to.
It's very difficult.
But they're
because
just
the engine is, it's hard to get. You remember the licensing issue with this editor?
There is a licensing issue. All I'll say though is they're going. It's clear to me, based on the updates that we've talked about for however many weeks now, they are making a clear, and they have got their goal set on making this game more modder friendly. And I think if they stay steadfast with that, eventually people will create. Once people start making cool things to do, like Harry Potter RP, then people will be all into it. I know Brian's ready for it, but I mean that's what I'm. All joking aside, when people are doing cool things in Miscreated outside of maybe just the base game, you look at a game like Gary's Mod. There is no game. Everybody just does their own thing. That's the whole point. So maybe you see. You think they could do prop hunt or something with this engine, Brian? You think that'd be done via Lewis scripting? Make prop hunt or something like that?
Good luck. I mean, you could.
Look at it. I'm a blade of grass in this in this engine randomly placed over here.
I'm still waiting for kind of and I brought it up a lot of times on the podcast, but some sort of a next generation extremely modders friendly game, like what Arma was. We're still waiting for that. Arma's still releasing stuff, but look how out of date all that is. And look at the tools we have now. And Arc is so huge, it's way bloated. It's very difficult and a pain to work in that modding platform, because the thing is 100 gigabytes just for the base files.
And you're looking for the next generation G mod.
Gmod or something that's like Arma that gives people a platform to make games to where they don't have to have a full understanding of game development to do it.
Yeah, which is how
That's
people.
something that allows you to put scripting on it.
Well, that's how PUBG. I mean, Brandon. That's how he got his start, was modding for Arma.
Exactly.
Now,
but right now we don't really have a platform for people like that to make their game anymore.
Arma 3 or whatever the most recent Arma would probably be the best that's out there right now.
It's so out of date and it's so limited. Like
nobody's
I've
nobody's
done
playing
scripting in it. Yeah, not anymore.
Well, that's not true. A lot of people are, but I don't. It's not.
Well, the numbers have dropped off. Yeah,
people aren't like jonesing for the new hottest Arma 3 mod. At least from my experience of talking to people, there's people in our group that are all into Arma modding, and they just Donnie is the one that comes to mind. I know he does little things from time to time, but a couple of years ago he was crazy about Arma modding. Now he's I don't see it all the time anymore. I see him playing other games.
PH brings up, people are doing GTA RP, which is like huge. 5M servers.
Yeah, that's big.
And that is a form of scripting, but there still are limitations. If someone really knows how to program in that, they could make some cool things, but GTA was not made to be modded. I mean, people are working around the whole system. It's just because it's such a big system that, they're finding pieces and things that they can do in it. But imagine if a platform was made to be modded. What the cool things that people could make.
Minecraft will rise again.
Yeah. In block form.
Hey, get a texture pack. It doesn't have to be blocks. Okay, so that's Miscreated. Pretty big update there. We will have to. We'll have to give this another shot here. I know. You know what we really need to do, Brian? We need to keep track of this stuff. When we say, "Oh, we'll play this for Game of the Week," we need a private. You and I need a private Discord channel that we can put these games in, because we really do need to try Miscreated again. You can customize everybody's loadout. We can spawn with a whole bunch of guns and building parts and actually do something. We can actually build a base.
Yeah, but it would take a little bit of beforehand going through and
we can do that.
Get it set up. But I think that would be, I think that would be a good idea.
So, we can look at something like that. 7 Days to Die is a game that we've been looking at as well that we'll hopefully do here in the next couple weeks. So there's lots of stuff out there. And again, for Game of the Week, if you've got I had somebody ask me this week, I want to host a game. Get in touch with us. Tell us what game it is.
Yep.
The key is if it's not a free game that a large number of our player base has got it or is interested in getting it. Maybe it's on sale or something like that. Or it's a new game like Xera is for this week. It's kind of a reason.
Yep.
So that is Miscreated.
Very good. All right, so let's go ahead and do last week we forgot the game giveaway.
Oh yeah.
We went through the whole show at the very end when I'm getting ready to go into my tip of the week.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh yeah, game giveaway. So let's go ahead and we'll do that really quick. So this is going to be a 60-point giveaway. So if you've been listening for an hour, which we've been on for more than an hour, you're more than welcome to join in. We're going to be giving away Wizards of Legend. So Wizard of Legend, and this is normally a $16 game. Currently, it's $11 pretty much. But it is a very positive rating. It's an action pixel graphics roguelike adventure game. So for people that enjoy these style of games, it has kind of that old feel, but it is a modern game, but was released here about a year ago.
And yes, enter for that. And if you're not joining us here live, you should be. We're live here pretty much every Tuesday, 7 p.m. Eastern, here on our Twitch channel and on YouTube live, twitch.tv/Infection Podcast. We're also giving away, Brian, this is a secret. I haven't told you this. We're also giving away a free copy of Fortnite on the Epic Game Store as well. So enter for that. It's a double giveaway as part of Epic's major sale. We've got a couple of copies of Fortnite to give away as well. So join for that.
Very nice.
Yes, Epic is awesome. They gave us a whole bunch of keys to their game. So yeah, hashtag Fortnite in the chat for a free copy of Fortnite. We're giving that away as well. So thanks to Epic and their mega sale for making that possible.
Yep. And they'll be funding our trip to PAX.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, with all the we're getting 50% rev split on all the copies of Fortnite purchase. So keep purchasing.
All right.
There's a lot of games on
let's
here.
Go. Yes. So let's talk really quick. Well, let's talk about Fortnite since you brought up our favorite topic. They released 9.01 this past week.
Okay.
And in here, they're doing the tactical assault rifle. And, this is one of it looks like a Fortnite version of the assault rifles that you see in most of these other games.
Mm-hmm.
There is a sight on this, and I don't know if that's going to be an indication, if it's actually going to have some sort of a sight, but they are doing that. Now they have a limited time game mode as well, which is Wix Bounty. Every player begins with several gold tokens. Eliminate other player, and that pays out all of the tokens the player was carrying. And then the first squad to reach the specified gold token amount wins the match.
Yeah.
So, yes. Okay. Thank you very much.
I'm sorry. The YouTube video ended without an outro, without like an ending, and the recommended videos. There's this picture of a cool cat, and it just says "Stop him," and that's one of the titled videos. Super inside joke, but I just was not expecting that to pop up.
It shows you've been watching too much cool content.
I mean, the video ends, and then there's just this huge picture. There's just this huge picture on my screen of this pops up when the video ends. So I apologize. I lost my cool there.
Anyways, so we got the assault rifle, and they did some tweaks and adjustments to some of the other things, but that's the main thing that they did was add a new gun, and they're having a limited time mode. So check it out.
Yes.
Fortnite.
Free copies given away. Join us live.
Yep. Okay, so let's talk. You want to go? Let's see. What's the most survival? There is Fallout 76. That's survival-ish.
That's the hottest survival game that everybody's playing these days.
The thing is selling there, but
I'll tell you what. I have literally not heard anything from anybody playing this game. I literally haven't
Fallout.
Heard. I know.
This is a huge franchise. Everybody played all the other games that they released, but not this one.
Yeah, I bought it like a jackass.
Well, I mean, it makes you wonder. You don't see the player numbers on this, but I'm wondering how many people are actually playing this game.
Bet you a lot of people playing it on console.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah. There's just so many other games to play on PC. I mean.
So this is their 9.5 patch.
Okay.
And they did they're doing an event on this as well. So they said sink your teeth into some experimental testing by joining the Project Paradise event, which takes place in Cavernous Biome Labs. And you can explore beneath the pharma area to find that. To start Project Paradise, you head to that pharma building, and once you enter the lobby, then use the elevator and you will descend into the labs. So This has a special event, and the enemies are going to be level 50 plus. So if you're doing that, make sure you're not level 5 running and thinking this is going to be the best experience of your life. Player vending machines, they did some tweaks to that. They can now be used to view the additional details about items in other people's vending machines. So it's easier for you to find that, like legendaries for your collections. That's what they say. And then they did a bunch of bug fixes. So still, like, I haven't heard anybody, or as you said, seen anyone playing it and be like, oh, that I want to try that game. I haven't been interested I watched PH stream it.
I own
when it first came out. I've never seen you stream it. I've never seen you play it.
I literally played it the day I bought it on sale.
Yeah.
And it's typical with me. I'm starting to sense I have a problem.
A trend?
Yeah. I have a real problem.
It's all right. PH does verify it was the worst. I do remember seeing crazy bugs and things, not like bugs in the game as far as creatures, but where bugs were like stretching all over the world.
I'll say this. I've said it before, and it's been a while, so I'll say it again. I don't think the game itself is really that bad, but everybody's got the stigma that it's really bad. So the second you go in there and you see any issues whatsoever, you throw up your arms and you go, junk, garbage. Every Fallout game has been rampant with bugs. Not the creatures, glitches, but there's just. I mean, to even think of launching the game, I'm thinking, no, there's just no. It's why there's just such a terrible stigma with it. It's like playing No Man's Sky with me. It's like I gotta waste my time with that.
It's actually pretty fun, but because of your pre-existing thoughts,
it's not gonna happen.
Yep, you'll always judge it by that. Same thing with me and like DayZ. Okay, speaking of DayZ,
we have video.
It went on sale this weekend.
Ooh, was it $3.28 off or something like that? Like a typical
30%, like they always do. The max they ever do is 30% off, which still is too high for me to be interested in that game. It was like $30 still or something.
Oh, was it? Okay, wow.
And so I was just like, ugh, it's not enough for me. Like I need this thing to be highly on sale. It needs to be at least 50% off for me to even bat an eye at it.
Well, they've got a quick video here.
So go and play this. This is for their 1.03 version.
Yes. It's not on sale anymore, but it was for this.
It was for the weekend.
Survival weekend, yes. So yeah, here it is. Quick DayZ update. We'll roll that and then we'll be back.
Peggy 18.
All right, quick DayZ update video with some things that they're working on. That's another game again we need to probably revisit. It's been at least a year and a half, if not longer.
But we have this stigma of the game not being any good. I mean, I remember when they first announced, because this was shortly after H1Z1 when they were kind of releasing.
Yeah, I did actually play this. I played it on the Xbox not long ago. It was probably a year ago at this point, but I did play it on the Xbox, and it was good. I mean, I shouldn't say it was good. I had a good experience. How about that? Yeah, it wasn't terrible.
Yeah,
but again,
it looks like a polished for me. The downside is it looks like a polished mod on Arma, which is exactly what it is.
Well, and the price. I mean, for whatever reason, it's never not $25 or $30, and for you to play it literally for a day. It's not. I mean, I'm not gonna speak for you, but I don't think it's not worth $30. That's clearly why you're not buying it. If it was $15, you may be interested.
Okay, so it's $45 normally. So they're trying to sell this game for $45.
So it's $30 probably.
Yeah, it was 30 something. Yeah. And so when I went on there, Peach was like, "Oh, you should get this," because I've been saying, if it's ever on a good enough sale, I'll get it. But the thing is I never see anybody on my friends list playing this game. It never pops up as a game that people are playing. So it would be a waste. I would buy it. We'd never play it. Maybe I'd launch it once. I'd play 30 minutes.
No, we'd play for a couple hours, and that would be it. Let's see.
Unless we had some crazy bugs.
Let's see. What is this? I've got 89 friends that own this game on my list. And you're right. I don't see any of them ever playing it.
So I've got 99 friends that own the game, 2 friends that recommend against the game, and 2 friends that recommend the game.
I think it's the same friends, yeah.
Yep. And then there's 12 friends that want this game.
Yeah. Well, so there you go. 90 people. I don't have that many friends. 90 of my friends have it. And by the way, it's got mixed reviews. It's not like it's some stunning game. I mean, the overall review is only 60% of the reviews are positive. So I mean, it's not like it's stunning.
Well, here is Donnie's comment.
I've seen this. Yeah.
5 years later, they have prioritized beards over working grenades and have decided to release the game unfinished. Thumbs down for unfinished released games. So,
Yep, and that was written.
February 17th. Posted January 30th. Updated on February 17th. Oh, so it's January 30th for 2017.
Yeah.
But then he updated it on February 17th. So who knows? Maybe he had a positive rating back in 2017.
I don't think so. But we'll see.
So I'm not sure what his old comment was.
Yeah, but no, you're right. It's 30. It's just too expensive. They need to do a humble monthly with this. It'd be worth $12.
If they did a humble bundle, I would definitely get it on there, and that would probably boost their player base by quite a bit.
Well, I don't think so, because they have a whole bunch of people that own it. I mean, 90 of my friends own it. But nobody plays it.
But as far as a brand new set of people coming in and giving it a chance, because if it's that much better, how many of these people purchased it when it first came out, but it was no good, so they haven't touched it since?
Yeah, and PH also mentioning cheaters, which is already a problem in there.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, and most of the comments I see is people just saying it hasn't improved. It's just nothing. It hasn't improved over this whole development time.
Yeah, that's probably a valid concern. Valid point.
All right, so that's DayZ. Not a huge thing to talk about.
It's always negative. It's a real shame. There's never anything. I mean, there's never.
Yeah, they need to put it on sale to where like for $20. If it were $20,
still too much.
Yeah.
Yeah,
but I'd probably be willing to bite the bullet for $20.
You probably would.
I'm not willing for 30, whatever.
You probably would. I think 15 is the number. 15 or less.
Yeah. I'm just saying that's kind of like my magic number of, because there's games that I see, and it's like if if this got down to this price, like Factorio.
Well, that will never happen.
If they put it on sale, I'll buy it.
Yep,
Until they put it on sale, never gonna buy it.
Likewise, you and I will steadfast. We're steadfast in that.
Yep. So that's their choice. Now PUBG came out with a patch, and this one's a pretty big one. This is update 29.
Okay.
And it adds in a lot of features. So I wanted to make sure. Let me make sure this is not newer, because I think I went to the wrong. I'm gonna pull up my.
This looks to be the newest. This was written on the 15th.
Yeah. I just want to make sure. I wanted to make sure. Okay, yeah. So this is current. I just want to make sure that I wasn't getting an old article on.
Yeah, and they never put the dates on these articles, which are
they don't put the dates. So I'm looking at the title, and I wanted to link that up because I like it when they put it in right under the title of the article. Yeah. They put the date that it was written. I want to make sure it's like, oh, this is like a year old.
This is standard for every game besides them, apparently.
Yeah. So they're doing their season Survivor Pass 3 wild card. And this is going to end on June 5th. And this will be, it's a new, like, I guess what they're kind of like this, it's a pass, like an all access pass, right? You play and then you can earn extra rewards. Once it ends, you can view your achievements and see a detailed page about what you acquired, rewards and various level achievements. They have missions that they're going to be doing through this process. So if you're interested in that and you want to maybe get some unique and different skins, that's one thing you can do. They're rebalancing Vikendi. They're doing changes to the blue zone on there. They're also wanting to make some changes in order to support a wider variety of gameplay experiences. So the initial safe zone will be placed in more varied locations, and the waiting time between certain blue zones has been reduced, kind of speeding up the game a little bit. Also, they've changed the vehicle spawn rate. So mostly just because of those changes to the blue zone, they want to go there and tweak those so it makes more sense with those. They increased the 4-wheel drive vehicle spawn ratio in relation to the snow bikes and snowmobiles. They've increased the item spawn rate. They said they've also gone in and increased items like the AR. They've increased by 1.4%. DMRs, they've increased by 2% or 2 times. Sorry, not percent. As the sniper rifle spawns have been increased by 7 times. So they've been going through and adding it, make it so the guns are much more prevalent there. Also, they have on their tactical map markers. So they've added those with 6 different marker types. for different situations. So you can do a marker for attack, danger, defend, loot, regroup, and vehicle. And they're using a little wheel on this, which I assume is to be more friendly with console. Probably, you have the UI still be somewhat friendly with that, because you could maybe hold down a key and then move the knob to whichever one you're wanting to do.
Definitely a console thing. This is not popular on PC.
Yeah, I think that's what they're thinking. So it's quick and easy to be able to do markers.
Oh, and for mobile
while
too.
using a controller. Yeah, and mobile, it works out very well. So yeah, so that's in reference. I mean, there's other games that have been doing this. And it's become just a
God, what's the name of the God? It's an EA game, real popular. I don't remember the name.
Not
of it,
the Pinnacle. What are they?
Of course, Apex.
And so they went through and picked one of those features. A lot of them been doing this. They're like, oh, this feature works well. People are liking it, and so they're putting them in there. They've gone through and adjusted the crosshairs for throwables. So they add a new crosshair, which when using throwables to easily identify the use of overarm or underarm throwing stance. So the side, if you're going to throw overarm, the upper line on it's a little bit, what would that be, lighter? It's actually more white. That it wouldn't be lighter or darker, right?
Is it tintable?
It'd be tinted less or more. I don't know. They're making it so the bottom one is not quite as bright as the top one when you're throwing overarm. They make some changes to the mini map on there. So teammates outside of your immediate mini map area will now have their icon and status shown on the edge of the map. So if they're off the map, they're not just, you don't have to try to figure out where they're at. You actually can see, oh, they're in this direction. They've changed the UI for the parachute sequence a little bit, made more visible and divided into gauges. So you can see, here's the point where you're going to have your parachute open automatically. And they added some additional information there. The flare gun UI, they've done improvements to that. Seems like they've been kind of going through and trying to improve the whole experience with the UI, because it was pretty rough in the beginning. And then they've added spawn kit selection options to custom matches. And I think other than that, it's just been improvements and fixes.
That's big. That allows these custom game modes that are popular. That it makes the whole set, especially if you're a streamer, because sometimes the setup, you can't really stream the setup process of those games. People don't follow the rules. When you're playing with like 3 or 4 buddies, you make it work. But that's big for stuff like that. And that's kind of what Miscreated.
I mean, you got all these different options.
Yeah.
And you can giving players, they said, more robust customization options.
It's funny that we're seeing this trend. It's not just PUBG and Miscreated. There's a lot of we talked about this as of, you have to call it the past year. Just a lot more of these custom people just get bored, man. I mean, how many times?
How many times can you do the same thing?
How many times can you fall, get in a car, drive to a city, loot, and then either kill one group and then get killed, or kill nobody and respawn? I mean, that just gets really old. And
I mean, you've said this before. I can't imagine being a full-time streamer. It would pull my hair out.
I mean, it may seem fun on the outside, but boy, I tell you.
It's like saying, someone saying, "Oh, you can have ice cream every day." Okay, but if you're having to sit there and only have ice cream all the time,
you'd be diabetic.
So sick of ice cream. You'd be diabetic, yes, but you would be so sick of ice cream.
Yeah.
What? It's nice to do things when you want to, but when you have to,
maybe I need to get a job playing video games because I'd want to play them and I still don't.
Well.
Yeah, no, but in all seriousness, that is the big, that is I think probably part of this that we're seeing in a lot of these games, is we have seen, and 5M and the GTA RP is the most recent example of, you go on Twitch and there are hundreds of thousands of people watching people stream a game, and now people are going and I mean, I've never played GTA. I've never played the GTA RP. All I know is that almost all of the servers are full, and you have to pay to get on them.
Yeah,
That's all, and that information may be incorrect, but I'm pretty sure that's accurate.
well,
so,
there are ones, but I think there's ones that are invite only, so they're for the very popular streamers. It's got quite an interesting culture that's built up over there, where people that are serious about doing this, they kind of group up together and do their own things.
Yeah. So, but again, why? So you would ask the question, well, why is a game like PUBG? Nobody's asking this, but I am. Oh yeah. Why would a game like because you just kind of glazed over it, right? You're just kind of like, oh, and they've allowed and they allow you to customize your kit.
Yeah.
If you're Summit and you want to do, there's a whole bunch of these game modes. There's, Border Patrol. There's a whole bunch of these game modes that are a lot of them spawned out of Halo 3 Forge. Now you can just set that stuff up. It's much easier to do. Even him, he's streamed Miscreated. He's got a Miscreated server, or had one. I don't know if it's still active. I mean, you want to do a quick game mode of Miscreated? Everybody spawns with a pistol, 2 things of food, and a water jug.
Yeah.
Duke it out. Last man.
And that'll
win.
be much more interesting. I mean, people were trying to do that with H1Z1, if you remember. I mean, with all these groups that were going and setting up boxing and, cage fighting and all this. Look at how much of a mess that sometimes turned into when you get one troll in the middle of it. I think the more control that you give over the servers and allowing people to do this makes it so that people are willing to, come out and try it, and they'll follow the rules because they realize there's restrictions put in place. They'll get kicked off. They won't be allowed on anymore if they misbehave. And you get a whole community of people that are generally doing something together that's fun. But you have to give them the tools to be able to make that happen. Or else, you've seen plenty of times how difficult it is to get everybody to follow one thing. And you get one guy who just starts shooting everybody or blowing everybody up or doing whatever.
Yeah. Say, close one.
Yeah.
So, there you go. That's PUBG. As you said, that actually is a pretty big update. And they're still full steam ahead with everything that they're working on. Let's see. What else do we have here on this list? Well, we talked about it. We hinted at it. Apex. They've got an update here.
Nick's favorite game.
I must say, the patch notes that EA does, it is literally the worst website in the world. The EA Answers website for Apex is just, it looks stupid.
And the way that they do their patch notes, it's like the least inspiring way that you could possibly do them into. There's no pictures, first of all.
Yeah, I mean, it's literally like a help desk page.
Yeah.
So, and that's what it is. This is their help desk software, their answer software, their knowledge base, and they
It probably doesn't let them post images in the article.
So, this is update 1.1.3, and this was done yesterday, so Monday, and they started off with audio fixes. So they say one of our biggest issues to tackle was improving the audio performance. To address reports of sound dropping out, sounds missing for extended time, or distortions for a period of time. We've seen the videos of this, of like the respawn jet comes in and it's like at 6,000% volume for people in the game, and it's like you can't hear anything on your computer. So that stuff can definitely be a problem. And by the way, that's kind of a QOL thing, which is indicating that the game, for the most part, is in a pretty good state when your big issue is audio performance. And I understand in a game like this, audio is important, but you're not dealing with your servers crashing or players crashing to desktop every other game or other crazy issues if you're dealing with this
one of
stuff.
their biggest ones that they've been running into on this is their hitbox detection. That's been a lot of people's complaints.
But that's a slow tweak over time. That's not just snap your finger.
They did actually, they do address that in this patch. So
let's start with audio here. They improved the audio engine to be about 30% more CPU efficient, lessening the chance of distortion or dropout. So maybe it was some type of CPU bottleneck, is what it sounds like, was causing some of that stuff to not get maybe interpreted correctly. One thing I want to make a note of is, I know in Unreal Engine, you'll have a limit, for instance, of like 16 sounds that you can play at once, which doesn't sound like a lot,
But the thing is you got to imagine 16 sounds happening at once. It is very possible. So when I was playing around, I made it to where firing a shotgun, you know how shotguns are in games.
Mhm.
Well, in this shotgun, every single pellet is an individual sound because it does an individual shot. It shoots them all separately.
That's a
So
problem.
that was all those shots of the shotgun firing at once. And then I have music that's going in the background on the game, and then bird sound effects and everything else going. So when you would fire a shotgun, it would cut all the other sound out because it was using up the 16 simultaneous audio sounds at once. There's little things like that that they could run into. They're adding all these sounds in, but you have to put a priority level of them. So like your music is the highest priority level so that it never cuts out. Then you can add all these other ones. So those are types of limitations that you don't generally think of. Okay, there's like 16 limit that you can do at once. That if you think about all the sounds you're hearing and possible people running and guns firing and things blowing up, maybe they're hitting those type of limitations as well.
Yeah, so they've fixed that. They made it more efficient, and with the more with adding more efficiency, they're hoping that will deal with some of the distortion or dropout issues. Part of things that they're labeling as a quality of life, they lowered the master volume of all sounds during the character select screen throughout the end of the drop sequence. They lowered the volume of Wraith's ambient her knife sound effect for those who are sensitive to the sound. I guess it makes a specific sound. I don't know. And if it is still bothersome, we will remove it in a later patch. So it must make like a high pitched whine or something like that.
Yeah, because like Laura has misophonia, I think it's called, where you have you're very sensitive to certain sounds, which is probably very possible that this is in that sound range.
It sounds
that
like it.
Certain people have a condition to where it's like nails on a chalkboard, certain sounds for them.
So they've lowered the sound of it, so hopefully that solves it. This is big. They increased the volume of close proximity enemy footsteps for all legends. So sound whoring, which is the common term for that, is in this game already had good sounds. You could hear enemies coming up on you. They're going to be even louder now.
Yeah.
Which is good for people that hang
like
around.
Like H1Z1 right after launch loud, or
no, not like people walking across the map in bushes and you hear it in Pleasant Valley and they're up in the truck stop in the right corner of the map. They increase the priority of enemy footsteps to this is what you're talking about, Brian. Increase the priority of enemy footsteps to ensure that sound plays even in heavy combat situations. So ding, let's hit the bell for Brian. Right again for you. That clearly was what was going on. They slightly lowered the volume of the Pathfinder, which is the robot's footsteps sounds heard from the first person viewpoint. That's odd. Fixed missing or quiet dry fire, out of ammo trigger click sound, and low ammo, the progressive change in the sound that the gun makes as the magazine approaches empty. That's a little feature I didn't even notice, but that is cool.
Yeah.
For a couple guns in the game. They increased the volume of the music track that plays when winning a match. They've added more detailed audio to the training mission, which
I don't remember even playing.
I do remember it, but I've never played it again. They did a couple bug fixes, and then this is what you were talking about, Brian. Hit detection. In this patch, we've pushed some fixes that should eliminate many cases of incorrect hit registration. This patch also includes some behind-the-scenes tracking of bullet damage logic. We expect there will still be some remaining hit registration problems, but with these fixes and diagnostic information, we are better equipped to track them down. One potential cause of hit registration bugs can be simply internet connection problems. In order to determine how much of a factor this really is, we've put some time into refining the functionality behind our network problem indicator icons in the upper right of the screen. These icons are now pickier about your connection quality and may show up more frequently than they did before. These icon changes will be useful for us in narrowing down the cause of any bugs that we continue to see. Please continue to share videos and report hit registration issues you still encounter after this patch. And unfortunately, hit detection is one of those things that is always being worked on. The second you add a different gun or a new player or anything, hit registration becomes an issue. And as they're saying here, your ping shoots up from your normal 40 or 50 milliseconds to 150 right when you're in a gunfight. And now there's just a difference. And so,
and if they're, one thing that also is, if their audio was really inefficient, what's a time when all of a sudden a ton of audio starts playing
in a gunfight?
They said they improved at 30%. With a gunfight, I think people take for granted the amount of sounds that are happening in that point in time. First of all, you have your gun firing. You possibly have little metal tinks from the
ricochet
shells, dropping out of the gun, and then you have the bullet impact that's happening on the remote side. There's a number of things that are happening during that phase that if their audio was really inefficient, firing a gun can lag you. I mean, we've seen games where firing a gun, it happened in H1Z1, if I remember correctly,
what gun
would almost
was it?
lag out a player.
There was a gun. Did they remove it or something? There was an issue with a gun.
Yeah, I remember there was one that almost. It
was the shotgun. It was in a raid. You would just fire the shotgun outside of the base to lag people,
and you could lag people out of the game.
Yeah, we used to do that.
And so that's the issue. Is they have to tune all of these things, because firing a shotgun, for instance, can possibly generate a lot more data than firing a pistol. And all those pellets and all the things that are happening.
And if something like that is happening at the same time that you've also got your connection is varying in latency, it's
just all compounding on each other.
Exactly. And you're talking about things that are happening in the snap of a finger, very very quick. And so they've tweaked their network indicator to it'll show up for people if you've got your pings start adjusting, is what I would assume.
Yep.
And then they fixed some PC only specific crashes to Intel CPUs. There was an issue with
they said that they found that lowering the clock speed always fixes the crashes, even if the CPU wasn't overclocked or overheating. Now, Intel is having a lot of, I don't know if you've looked into this at all. Intel is having a lot of stuff happen to them lately. They've had very specific hacks that have been that are things that are in their architecture of their chips that people can use against them. This is something where they've been doing tricks and things to get their CPUs faster than the rest of them. Well, specifically AMD, and a lot of those are being used against them now because they were taking so many shortcuts that it's actually made their chips very insecure to run in a server environment. And so it'll be interesting to see where Intel is at a year, 2 years from now, when many of their chips in server environments are having to be downclocked so much because they had to turn off all of those performance enhancing features that Intel chips have. And so they're getting to where they're not faster than AMD anymore because they're having to turn off all the extra things.
This message paid to in part by Ryzen.
So anyways, just a little side note, because you know how everybody said, oh, Intel's so much faster. Well, there was a reason, and it's starting to come back and bite them. So
Ryzen for the win.
So, AMD, everybody's talking about how AMD was so crap, but the thing is,
they were. The FX line of AMD
overheat.
Processors were garbage.
Overheat like crazy.
This streaming computer behind me has got a Corsair liquid cooler on it, and I've got every slot in the computer fans, and I've also got fans zip tied to the inside of the case through the grills, and it still overheats.
Yep. I have to run on mine. I have to run water coolers just to be able to run it normally.
Yeah. The FX AMD processors are garbage.
Well, but in that aside, when we're saying is that whatever, I mean, the Intel chips were, I think, better chips to begin with, but then they got so much on we're going to be the fastest chips on the market by far, that they started putting in features that shouldn't have been done in the first place to get perform. I mean, in a perfect world, they should be done where people aren't going to take advantage of things. But the problem is you have to make these things secure, so you can't just do everything you want. So anyways, that's a little side note on Intel chips.
All right. And that is a couple of other bugs and things like that. Nothing crazy with Apex. So they're working on sounds and there you go. Update from them.
Okay, so how much longer do you want to be here?
I mean, we've only got a couple games to finish here, so if you want to just cover, what's left, we're pretty close.
Okay. All right. So Outlaws, they put out a new patch.
What is Outlaws again?
So this is kind of an open world survival based in a Western type of a theme.
Okay.
This is, let's see, they're actually released by one of the bigger studios. I'll look it up really quick. So it's not like some small little development company that's putting this out. This is actually, you can argue whether it's AAA, but Virtual Basement, which we all know from Ark, and then Wandering Wizards. So the developer is Virtual Basement. You'll notice their icon pops up. I think it's the one with the monkey on it whenever Ark launches. And so they have made this game, and it's definitely buggy.
Oh, that's good.
It is interesting, but it's one that's definitely in development. So they've been adding a lot of features. I think over time it will be much more of a viable game to play. I think right now it's just kind of in its infancy of getting formed. So, but they are adding features, like they added trade and stay, a building where respawns can be purchased, but it's also a safe house where players can equip weapons and get damage, or they cannot equip weapons or get damage. It's also a working stove, for public use. So it's got kind of all the elements there to have a good role-playing community, have a kind of limited PvP, because you'll have safe zones and things. It's a fun open world, and then the story I don't think is really unfolded yet. You start out in a coffin, and you bust out of the coffin. Like someone buried you, like you had died. Now, the thing that someone had noticed when we were playing this is that the player's hands are like extra white. So we're wondering if there's some later story that unfolds that maybe you're dead and like something's happening outside of your just, waking up in a coffin. Of course, that hasn't been verified. That's all speculation, but that's one thing we've been wondering about. This one has a lot of fixes. They added 8 more horse color variations to the stable. Okay, so that's one thing they added. Other than that, I think it's all fixes besides that building.
Can I make an observation?
Yes.
They need to work on their artwork, because this graphic literally looks like an Unturned image. When I first saw this, it looks like it really does, Brian. It looks like something out of Unturned. Not that an Unturned is a block-based free-to-play game. I mean, this barn looks like a barn in Unturned. That's a problem to me. This is not a sexy image.
Well, and what I'm hoping is that they're actually just working on mechanics at the moment and not worrying so much about the beauty. But that for being Virtual Basement, that's the one thing that does concern me. What should be.
What does that mean? I mean, I know that's the company, but what does that mean? Like, what about?
I mean, the fact that they're one of the guys that worked on Ark.
Okay.
Like, they should be able to put out decent quality. Of course, we all know Ark really licensed out, and they had other people make a lot of their graphics.
Wasn't doing any of the graphics.
So I guess maybe that's a good indicator, that these guys maybe need to license out graphics.
What's so funny though is in one post they show the image of the barn, and the next one there's this image of this hotel that I'll say isn't the most detailed, greatest looking thing ever, but it is of much better quality than the. It looks. I mean,
maybe
it looks better. And now PH is talking about in chat that the Unity Asset Store called. So some of these are maybe just what do they call those, reskins or whatever they call that, of asset flipping or whatever it is.
Let me see what Outlaws of the Old West engine. I want to see what this is built on.
It's got to be.
I thought it was Unreal, but maybe not.
I'm not sure.
Outlaws of the Old West game engine, Unreal. So it is on Unreal Engine.
Okay, so the Unreal Asset Store called, and they want their.
The thing is, you wouldn't see this. The items, the barns in the asset store are so much better than this. So that's the strange thing. They're making these, like, they have a beautiful environment in it.
Well, yeah, it looks good.
The buildings that they're making just are really lower quality.
Wow. Weird.
So I don't understand why.
I didn't mean to derail you.
Maybe
that was my
maybe it's
initial
modular.
observation.
I mean, maybe you can build it or something. You know what I'm saying?
That's
So here
possible.
here it says you can build a barn. So it's a modular barn.
Yeah, but it still
now
looks
they
like
could have done a better
crap.
job.
It looks like garbage.
Well, I was doing a live stream where I was showing how to make building parts.
Mhm.
And if you have a decent graphic to start with, like you can make something so much better than that.
I mean, every single wood plank looks the same at the bottom, so the barn has got this like every bottom piece is all worn and weathered. It's the same wooden
which
piece.
doesn't work in that type of
It
thing.
looks
You have to have it to where
stupid.
it can have weathering in the middle of it, but the outside edges all need to match and flow together.
It just doesn't look good. It's every piece is the same. And at every layer it's the same wear and weather.
Yeah,
it looks stupid.
Yeah, it is really weird. I don't know.
Here's the thing. Here's
what do you do?
Well, here's the problem. These things can exist in the game, and that's fine. Don't put this as your banner image for your update. Like,
yeah,
if this wants to exist in the game, people already own the game and will take a screenshot of it and go, "Oh, this is crap." But they already own the game. But like when I click on your update on Steam, and this is the image I'm greeted with of a low texture, it looks like half-ass thrown together barn. It's just not appealing. And it makes me wonder why the door's not even on the ground. You couldn't even get into this barn.
Yeah, they like dual stacked the door.
I mean, what the hell? What the hell is this? I mean, it's glitching. It's through the ground. How would you even get into this barn? I know they're trying to show that it can be on a hill and it's modular, but this is not.
Yeah, but they need to have like a base level to the barn that's, like foundation of it, not have it be an extension of the wall of the barn going into the ground where you see half a door hanging out of the ground, because you can't open that.
And yeah, man, and chat is saying some post-processing can make it look, yeah, that's what they need to be doing. They need to be taking these into Photoshop and retouching them. And some people say, well, that's not an accurate representation. It's marketing. Like,
yeah,
you ever opened up a magazine and looked at the people in magazines and there's not a pimple on their face or you can't see any of their pores? It's advertising. That's what this is. Now don't lie. Don't put things in pictures that aren't in the game, but you can beautify things and make them look more appealing without being dishonest. And this just, Brian, initial impression of this is like, why the hell would you publish this?
I don't know. It's coming out May 28th. The barn is.
Yippee. So, I'm going to sold.
Here soon.
Sold to the man
like in a week. And it doesn't all look that bad. They've got a lot of good mechanics. I mean, it is a very solid survival game. So it's got farming and hair they're adding in to where you can have cattle. Now, can you pull up the picture of the cattle?
Yeah, sure. Hold on.
There's a picture in there.
Yes, I have this.
I don't know if you can get a decent sized image of it.
That?
Now, is that one cow? Is it floating in the air? Or is that a hill?
Definitely floating in the air.
It looks like the cow is like,
yeah, it's
hovering in the air.
Its hoof is like on the grass, like on the blades of grass. Yeah, it's definitely.
And then what's on the back of the other one? Do you see?
There's birds.
Look on the back of the brown one.
They're birds.
Oh, those are birds sitting on the
birds.
back. Okay.
Well, yeah, but the couple of the birds are off of the back.
Yeah. What? That's what I was having trouble telling. What
how
it was.
Can you?
Like
Be, how can you be publishing these? This is your best. That cow is absolutely float. It's not. It doesn't look like it. Oh, the one bird is flying. The one bird's in the middle of flying.
Yeah, it's like it's landing on the back, which is a cool effect.
It is cool. This cow, even if it is standing on a hill, it looks like it's floating, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, it was just kind of a weird spatial use. I was just looking at it, like it looks like he's just hovering.
Yeah, it does. The bad perspective. Retake the picture. Nobody saw this internally. I was like, huh, this looks like this cow is floating in midair. I mean, it looks like somebody put clip art in it, like a Word document.
Oh, we need a cow here. Let's put this here.
Cow.jpg is in the game.
But if you look, I mean, in that shot, there's some decent things.
There are.
You've got
look
a
at the
crow
windmill
that's sitting in the background. You got deer or elk or something in the far distance. You got the windmill. I mean, it's it's got a lot of good elements, but it just needs to be polished a little bit more.
Agreed.
So,
do you own this?
Yeah, I have this. Actually, Donnie purchased it for me.
Oh yeah, I remember we had this conversation. Yeah.
Yep.
Thanks, Donnie.
And I played it with him a little bit.
It's a good price. It is $20. So it's just at that, as we talked about earlier, that price point where it's, it might be worth gambling it, depending on the game.
Yep.
Now, overall, 65% of the reviews, and there's only 2,100 reviews, but only 65% of them are positive. So it's currently sitting at mixed, and is it's new. I will say, give them credit. If you look at their Steam, they are doing updates. They did one on the 21st. They did one on the 17th, or they post on the 17th. They post on the 14th, the 7th. I mean, they're doing an update. They're doing an update a week, if not more than one a week. So,
and I think this will grow into a decent game. I think it's kind of early in the development as far as you saw. Things are a little bit rough with some of the graphics, but all the elements are there. A good base building system, good survival mechanics. It's got a very big, interesting world with a lot of things to do. So I think it will become a game that's a lot of fun, but I think it's not one that you maybe want to throw everything into right now. I mean, look at how long it took Ark to get to where it was fairly playable.
Yeah.
I mean, we were rubber banding all over the place for the first year, it felt like.
Yeah, that sounds about right. It was not a good experience, to say the least.
Yeah. And so I think this is another one of those that's going to take a little bit to kind of get into.
Okay. Well, I guess, as long as it's on your radar, we'll be keeping an eye on it.
Yep. And then ROE, they put out some other updates this week as well. And they put out usually every week 2 to sometimes 5 updates in a week. And so that is one that is constantly changing. We'll have to do that as Game of the Week again at some point. But they're added in there. They're adding an LTM. So I don't know. That's what's LTM stand for. But they're adding in what they call a sniper assassin. So this will be, I have no limited time mode. Sniper assassin. You run around and you are able to snipe people.
Yeah.
I'm not sure exactly what they don't go into tons of detail about what they actually allow you to do. You can pick from a couple of different packs, but I think it's just includes sniper rifles. Just from their thing. They don't really say anything special about it other than you only have sniper rifles in this mode. So I guess there's not any other crazy mechanics to it. But the loadout changes when you're starting it. They added the TAC 50, and that's probably why they're kind of doing this, is because it's a 50 millimeter ammo sniper rifle. It's their highest single bullet damage gun that they have in the game now, and so you can pick that up. They've added some things to the store, which we don't really need to get into. Now DirectX, they've been doing a DirectX 12 preload, because of the DirectX 12 beta client's going to be coming out.
Mm-hmm.
So if you want to try that and see what the game plays like on DirectX 12, they're going to be putting that out there.
Cool.
Here pretty soon. So, but yeah, this is one that's it's a fun game. I mean, we enjoyed playing it. I don't know. It seems like it's not held people's interest.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's more of the same. That's the big problem. I mean, what do you want to play?
Yeah.
You want to play ROE? You want to play PUBG? You want to play Fortnite? You want to play Realm? You want to play
I would say that
Apex?
ROE is one of the more solid VR games.
It is. I mean, it's got a lot of cool mechanics in it, I think. But I'll say, based on our last experience playing, we were just getting killed out of nowhere. I mean, people just
I think that there's a hacker problem on that game. I don't know that there's a mechanics problem. There's plenty to do in the game. It's a fun game, but I think that there's a hacker problem.
I'm not even necessarily talking about hacking, but because there was just a lack of, maybe it was our lack of understanding of the map. It just felt like all of a sudden, 1 second everything is, we're in control of an area, and the next second there's like 3 groups there, and we're getting just hit from all angles. So that part of it was frustrating, but that's probably
I don't think we ran into that in the previous ones, though. Like, I didn't feel like that was as much of an issue in the previous times we played.
Okay.
It seems like last patch, it was a bigger problem than we ever had before. I don't think we ever had where we just felt like all of a sudden everybody showed up and we all got wiped out at once. That wasn't happening.
Yeah.
Well, and whether or not the player base has gotten better, or who knows what that could be. But it just seemed like the last time we played it was different. I wanted to bring up, we've been talking about ARC a little bit, but there was a topic that I brought up a month or two ago now. But remember the whole thing with the nav mesh, the mesh holes that was an issue in ARC, where people were going through the map by getting on various platforms on dinosaurs and getting themselves into people's bases where they shouldn't have.
Yeah.
This one, they've in this May 14th patch notes, they said hundreds of fixes across all maps, including mesh holes and updated collision to better match the visual landscape. So that's pretty much dealing with those nav mesh holes that have been in the game for so long. I mean, this has been a big issue, and a lot of the big streamers and people that do YouTube videos and everything else have been complaining about this, because anybody who knows the location of your base can get in and can wipe you out without having to go through all your base defenses.
Yeah.
And so this I think is a big issue, but it's taken them, I mean, this has been at least a year that this has been an issue. So other than that, it's just a couple fixes, updated metric system, whatever that means, just mainly fixes.
By the way, they're also doing a modding contest. So if you're interested in that, go check out their Twitter. It's at Survive the Arc. They've got a modding contest open to the 31st where apparently there's some big money involved in it. So go ahead and they've been, actually the 2 grand prizes are $10,000 each. So I mean, you're talking about a serious chunk of change there for a mod. So check that out as well. Atlas had a couple updates this week. I read through them when you were just doing some arcs. There's nothing really crazy in any of those. There's a lot of fixes and things like that. They've are enabling and disabling things on different servers to on official PvP and PvE to do things, and changing some config files and whatnot. So nothing crazy with Atlas. They are.
Do you think they're going to keep pumping resources into it?
Yeah, they have to. It's too soon. The game's been out. The game's been out less than 6 months. How the hell? I mean, how can you stop pumping resources into it?
I mean, it's costing them a lot of money just to run it.
Well, that's true, but in the same vein, I don't think after 6 months, I mean, there's plenty of games that have got way less players that have been on longer than 6 months.
That don't require 100 and something servers to run one cluster. I mean, that's my issue, is it takes 100 and something servers to run one section, and they don't even have enough people to fill one of those sections.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just the way that it's built, it's so inefficient. It's got to be a struggle for them to justify. I mean, if anything, maybe they'll come up with a way to allow you to play across
Bingo,
region.
boom, shakalaka.
I mean, that's one thing I'm wondering, is if they're going to make it so that you can play, EU is playing on the same servers as maybe as the US, and maybe routing a little bit differently to the server or something.
Mm-hmm.
They need to get it down to where there's one 40,000 person server for everybody, because they're not breaking 40,000 at the moment, I don't think.
We'll find out.
We'll find out soon.
Yes. I think that's about all.
Also,
news. Oh, sorry.
Okay, yeah. Realm Royale, they came out with an update, their OB19 update. So this one, they've added a new ability in there. They've gone through and done a decent number of changes, the ping system. So once again, another group, BR, making a ping system in the game. So and then they added some more skins for chickens and horses and all of that. So you're welcome to check it out.
Things.
That's OB19. Yep. I think that's pretty much. I think that's pretty much Blackwake put out, but it was mostly just fixes. I don't know that it was any new features, but Blackwake came out with 3.84 as well.
All right. Cool. I guess that.
Oh yeah, Z1 Battle Royale. They did they released those showdown rewards, but we had announced a couple weeks ago,
Yeah,
because they were no longer doing all of these extra things. So they showed the pictures of the skins that they're going to be releasing, and they said they went through all the different people that were eligible to receive it, and they looked at, to make sure they weren't hacking, looked through all the reports and looked for toxic behavior, looked for exploits, and then they've been giving out those to everyone else who qualified.
All right. I believe that's all of our news, which is exciting.
Yes.
So let's see here. All right. So we've done all the news. Then we'll go ahead and head on over to current players. We will look at some games and the numbers of people that are currently playing them. Let's start with Ark Survival Evolved, currently playing 25,584 people not currently colliding with mesh holes and things like that. The 24-hour peak, 39,023, and the 7-day peak, 51,625. Moving on over to Rust, currently playing 27,613, the 24-hour peak, 39,703, with a 7-day peak of 55,537. Let's take a look at Miscreated, currently playing 561, the 24-hour peak, 827, the 7-day peak, just barely above 1,063. The most amount of concurrent players in the last 7 days. That's not great. Let's look at Player Unknown's Battlegrounds. Currently playing just shy of 100,000 players right now. The 24-hour peak, 722,994, with a 7-day peak of 820,622. And here it is, nowhere near 40,000. Currently playing 4,398. The 24-hour peak, 6,075, with a 7-day peak of 8,000. Say again, 8,180. That is 8,180 players playing a game that advertises that is a 40,000 concurrent player MMO. 8,000 people
per server.
Yes, and there are 4 servers worldwide.
Yeah, I mean, come on. I mean, that's quite a few less.
I mean, it's less than a quarter of my head. It's less than a quarter of a server.
I mean, the thing is, each server, their total number of players should be multiplied by 10 to fill one of the servers.
Yeah,
and they have 4 of them, so that's not good. So I don't know what that's why I was saying, do you think they're going to continue pushing it? Well, they may keep a server up, a cluster of servers up, but are they bringing in enough to justify it? I mean, that's a huge cost. Okay, but here's the whole concept.
So here's my counterpoint to that. What are they going to do if they? I mean, this is a full company. What is this, Grape Shot Games or whatever it is? So if let's just say they stop doing out, what are they going to do? I'm saying
they need to make another game.
Well, and I'm sure they're working on other projects in the background, but until one of those projects is ready for full team resources, they're going to keep this one alive. Now, I mean, look at what...
I just don't think they're selling more copies, personally.
Well, they are. I mean, they're still selling some copies. There is still... I mean, I wish we had 4,000 people listening to this podcast. That's not a small number of players. I bet you Miscreated would love these numbers as well. But my point being, this is an MMO, but you look at just a recent example, Brian, Rend was an MMO, and they kept the game alive for not that long, like a year, just a little over a year. So 6 months is too early. You get into 12 months, maybe 14, 16 months. If you've got something else on the horizon, then maybe you look at I don't know, open sourcing. I mean, the server's you can already host a server. So I don't know what you do. Maybe you find somebody else that wants to host the servers. I have no freaking clue. Yeah. But the problem with a game like this is it constantly needs to be updated. That's the problem with Rend. Now they say, well, in the future we may come back to doing updates. These games that can have the game-breaking bugs that have existed since day one can be dug up. You have to update. Once those exploits become public, the game is ruined if you don't do those fixes. So you
with Ark and those holes in the mesh, like that made it to where people didn't want to play anymore, and it drove away a huge amount of their player base.
It did, but if Ark, I'm trying to think of a game that I don't know one off the top of my head, but when you're dealing with a game where an exploit it's games like Ark and Atlas and games where there's a significant Rust, where there's a significant time investment into getting the things that you have. You can't, in my opinion, you can't keep a game live and not be actively updating it. It just doesn't.
Yeah.
I mean, look at Daybreak with EverQuest. They have to keep the updates going because there's constantly issues that are being discovered and dealt with. You can't keep a game like this alive and not do updates on a semi-regular basis.
Yeah.
Unless you're hide and hold out.
There will be an update someday, I'm sure.
There may have been an update. I haven't checked. And
yeah, I haven't looked in a while.
yeah, maybe
I have a
next week.
feeling there's not.
I'm gonna check right now.
You just need to know. There might be some secret everything's fixed update. All right. So are we good to roll into tip of the week?
I don't even see it on Steam anymore. Oh, here it is.
They must have
Hide and hold out. No, hold on. Oh, last update. It's not even showing up. I don't even know where the news is, like, not even on the page of this anymore. Is it been? Do they do that after when you? No, I see it here, but when they don't do an update for an extended period of time, does it get rid of like the?
I wonder if there's like if the news goes back for like a year or something like that.
Oh, then I guess they've done no news because there literally is not an option for it.
No, maybe you should install it and try to launch.
I never bought it.
Get into a server. Oh, okay. All right, so let's go and roll into tip of the week. Tip of the week is where I go through and give either a general gaming tip or one for a specific game. It's just we're going to be playing some Xera this week. I'll be doing that for tip of the week. All right, so in Xera, as you level up, it gives you an ability to store more items. Now, initially playing, there's a weight limit that they impose on the player, and that increases as your player gets higher level. But one thing you can keep in mind, kill robots. I think you get about 20 XP per robot. That's a good way to initially level up to make it to where you have the ability to carry more. Once you reach level 5, though, you have the ability to store items in one of the safe settlements. So if you go to one of the safe settlements, you can store items and you don't risk losing them to other players killing you. So it's a kind of a permanent storage. So during the game of the week, I also wanted people to remember you can harm teammates. So please, Joe, if you're going to be playing with us, I know, just watch your fire, because that is one thing that in this game, a lot of times, you could fire at people on your own team, and in other games, this one you will do damage to your fellow players. So that is tip of the week.
All right. Thank you very much for that, Brian. And again,
Because Joe's favorite motto is team kills count.
Team kills count. Well, they technically
That's
do.
how he gets half of his kills.
One more time, again, if you want to pre-order this before Friday, you can buy it on Steam for $19.99, or you can buy it through their website. And if you go to infectionpodcast.com/Xera, Xera, the link is also in the show note. A part of the sale price will come to us. They won't be paying the Steam tax, like the 40% that Steam takes. So it's kind of a win-win. If you're looking to do that, you can do that. And again, keep an eye on our Twitter. They're planning some type of launch event. They're trying to coordinate a whole bunch of streamers to do some stuff together on the launch, and they've asked us to be part of that. They're still working out the details, and when we know them, we'll pass them on. So Friday, hopefully afternoon Eastern time, we'll be able to do that. So check our Twitter @InfectionCast for that. And yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I really hope these guys succeed. They're a good group of people.
Yep. And that's the thing is with this, I think people are looking for kind of an open world survival style PvP game. You have Rust, but we've seen Rust is kind of its own little thing. Like either you like Rust or you hate Rust. And Rust is fun, but it's really difficult to get into. And this is kind of more of that War Z, I guess you could say, kind of like the DayZ style that people enjoy playing a lot. And and hopefully people take to it. And this is just the beginning of them doing development on it. So this is going to be the beginning of the alpha stage. And after this, you'll start to see changes to the map, changes to the mechanics. Like they're going to continue development on it. This isn't just a release of here's the finished game. All right. Are we ready for the game giveaway?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So let's go ahead and draw this big Woody sauce. So the Ross sauce, congratulations. And you have won. I'll send you a link in Discord.
Yes.
Hopefully he can play it. He can stream and play it while shirtless.
Well,
so.
I mean, I guess. Thanks, Ross. Thanks everybody else for joining us here live. We appreciate it. Let's see. Xera is our game of the week. We'll be playing that Friday night. We'll have a couple keys to give away to people. So if that's something you're looking for, we'll also have a couple to give away on the show next week. Hopefully, and then maybe not next week. Maybe it'll be the week after. We'll work it out. We'll have a couple keys for the game. So join us for that Friday night. And yeah, looking forward to it.
Very good. Okay. Well, if you want to, is there anything we need to do before we roll on out of here? Are we good?
I don't think so. I think we're good.
All right, cool. Well, if you want to find me at Boise Computer on Twitter and my blog, biteoftech.com, make sure you go to our website, infectionpodcast.com. On there, we have links to our Discord, which is the perfect place to go submit news maybe that you think we should talk about. You want to hang out and just talk with everybody. That is a free app. They have a web-based version. They have an app version that works on phone and works on your computer. And it's free, easy to use. We have our Steam group. If you want to get notifications before the live show, you happen to be at your computer on a Tuesday night, you'll get a little notification. You can jump in and join us live. We have our YouTube channel, our Twitch channel, and then all the different ways to listen to us with audio format. So if you're interested in checking out one of the videos or maybe some notes that we're referring to, we have those in all of our show notes for the past now 227 episodes. So if you want to go on there, just visit the site and click whatever particular episode you are wanting to see.
Brian.
So I think that's it.
I have another criticism to make about your website, biteoftech.com. You have been doing some pretty extensive long format Twitch streams, and I don't see a Twitch. I don't see a Twitch logo on where to find me.
I know, it's like, because this is like the first time I started actually using Twitch.
I'm just giving you some feedback. You've been doing some.
Maybe I'll put something that pops up and says I'm live on Twitch right now.
That's good, but you also want to have a button there so that people, because I mean, Brian has been doing some very in-depth Twitch streams surrounding around the Unreal Engine and his how-to project. And it's very cool to sit in there. I just kind of open it up and watch the chat, and it's fascinating to see that there's such an active group of people that are all into this, and most of them are it's a hobby. They're not making they're not building AAA games. They're just interested in the hobby, and Unreal is so accessible. It's free. And if you've got any decent computer, you can run the Unreal Engine. So it's kind of cool to see people talking about very technical things in the chat.
One thing I would encourage people to do, and here's what I've done, is follow in Twitch, follow the Unreal Engine category, because it's harder if you just search for game development. You'll get, I don't even know if there's really a category for that. But if you search for Unreal Engine, you'll get people that are actually actively developing, and you can sit there and talk to them. And that's pretty much what I've been watching lately, because I find it interesting to hear, or see what they're doing and hear them talk about whatever processes they're doing. But that is a fun one to follow. And then you'll see there's not that many Twitch streamers doing Unreal Engine. There's maybe 3, 4, max 5 at a time, compared to, go to the just talking section or whatever section. There's hundreds to thousands of people in there.
Yeah.
So that is something that I've been doing, and I find it fun. There's some interesting personalities that are streaming while they're working on games.
Yeah, and then Brian, of course.
And then there's me. The less interesting person.
I love you, Brian. You know that. Thanks as always for handling all of the preparation and whatnot. And we'll see you Friday night, and then hopefully next Tuesday.
Very good.
Alrighty, folks. Again, thanks to all of our folks here that are joining us live. You can join us live here every Tuesday. We're here on Twitch and YouTube. Our Twitch channel is twitch.tv .com/infection podcast. Game of the week, Xera, 8 o'clock, Discord. Join us for that. Well, that's going to do it, folks, for another episode of Infection. If you missed any portion of the show or need to check out any of the links, the show notes, that's all on our website. It's infectionpodcast.com. My name is Nick Craig. You can follow me on Twitter at Nicholas M. Craig. Thanks for joining us, everybody. Have a great week. See you next time.